Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper, and I have a new single and music video called Going Nowhere Fast.
Going nowhere fast. Going nowhere fast. I don't know how long I'll last. Going nowhere fast.
For my new record, album, CD, Quarantine Dream, which you can get limited edition hand-drawn cover versions of on my Bandcamp, vonesper.bandcamp.com. Anyways, Going Nowhere Fast. It's a harrowing tale of going slow in the fast lane of life and on the road. So check it out somewhere over here and buy the record while it lasts on vonesper.bandcamp.com. See, that's me.
Imagine Alice Cooper with about 1/100th the money.
If the Cramps had been a heavy metal band.
Crazy as H, blood-splattered, ear-splitting hilarity.
The Wizard of Oz meets splatter horror films.
The gag is, you're in the splash zone.
You're covered with goo and blood, and if you're not completely soaked, you didn't have a haunted garage show.
It's like going to a horror movie, except it's actually happening.
It's basically walking into the most brutal, gory film right in front of your face.
It was probably the best part of my life.
I think of him as a guy with commitment to his art.
That's Dookie. I mean, he wants to take it as far as he can take it.
You gotta see this band.
Wait a minute, are you gonna get this?
Oh, thank you.
Slam, slam, slam.
Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper. Welcome to GWARPod. You know who's here tonight. It's Techno Destructo, which is, I advertised this as the return of Techno or the return of Hunter Jackson, but actually he's not had his own episode on this show yet. Technically, when I interviewed him, it was my other show, VonPod, which I now call GWARPod Zero, because that's where I kind of came up with the concept of this show and had his encouragement. So thank you, Hunter. 40 episodes in and we finally got him as his own. So, I know he's got some news to share and I want to follow up on some things from our last conversation. But then I want to throw a lot of this out to the chat tonight. Remember, if it gets crazy in the chat room, there are always the super chats and I very much appreciate that. That'll get you right to the top. I may ignore you for a while and then do them all at once. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you want to see me go deep with Hunter, go watch GWARPod Zero. It was a 4.5-hour conversation. I got most of the things that I have been waiting 30 years to ask him in on that one. So this one's going to be a follow-up and some news and see what you guys in the chat, are going to say. So are you guys ready to do a GWARPod? Let's do a GWARPod.
GWARPod comes from on GWARPod. 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 GWARPod.
GWARPod.
Yeah, I didn't steal that from you guys or anything.
That was funny. And you had the kid from Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
I had a recent run-in with him where
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was working this convention in Wisconsin and they were like, he's gonna be here, he's here, and I'm like, oh really? So he's like making a career out of this, huh? And,
well, I seeked him out, so I don't know what he's doing with it since then. But
well, he had a bunch of really cool little paintings. Here, let me go grab the one I have.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
he gave me one.
Nice. I mean, you probably were the highlight of his life, Jerry Springer.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
This is a painting that he did.
Oh yeah, nice.
And there are all these like galaxies and all. And so they're all kind of similar, but they're pretty cool. And they're all really different too. They're not like they don't all look the same. And so I thought that was really cool. Maybe I'll use this like when I'm shooting some miniatures or something like that. I'll use this as the background or something.
Yeah, you know what? That can be the background when we re-edit the Ragnarok video and get rid of that blue screen.
But yeah, that was the kid from Jerry Springer. They did that.
We watched like the whole show. We did like a commentary on it pretty much on here.
Oh,
it
yeah?
was fun, yeah.
That was funny.
So what's going on, Hunter Jackson?
Well, I've got one really coming up really soon here, which is I'm going to do the Secret Origins of GWAR slide multimedia presentation.
Ta-da.
Which I'm going to do that at Trepany House, and it's going to be at Titmouse. It's sponsored by Titmouse.
What is Titmouse?
Titmouse does Adult Swim. They're the animation studio that does Adult Swim.
Gotcha.
So Amit contacted me. Amit Eidelman contacted me. He does Trepany House, and he's been doing this crazy live action like Alien Encounter or something it's called, but it's like he picked my brain about how GWAR did the spew effects in the early days, like using I told him that the best thing was just get a whole bunch of those rechargeable fire hose tanks, so you can take them to the and what we used to do in GWAR was Scott Crawl used to take them to the gas station every day and have them pressurized. And you can fill them up with whatever kind of liquid that you want. And so he went and found a bunch online somewhere for sale. We were lucky in the early days of GWAR because that was right when we're switching from those type of fire extinguishers into the chemical fire extinguishers. So they were all the local schools and stuff were all throwing them out at the same time. So we just lucked into it where we got our hands on a whole bunch of them all at one time and used them for years. But that was the way we started out doing it. And so Amit's been doing that. He has this crazy show and people get all soaking wet and everything like that. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear that it's really very entertaining. So that's going to be the same building that we're going to do the Secret Origins of GWAR show.
Right.
Fun.
So
and
what? Yeah, go ahead.
And stuff too as well.
Yeah, I noticed that almost actually to the week 10 years ago you did a Secret Origins of GWAR. What is going to be the difference between these two shows, and is that a coincidence that it's almost exactly 10 years?
I think it's kind of a weird coincidence, actually. And the other weird thing about it, after I thought about it, I was out in the yard today doing the silk screen, making some of those foam wrenches that I sell to sell at this show. And I got to thinking about what a nice day, what a nice warm sunny day in February it was. And I was like, wow, when I first came to LA, I came from Philadelphia, and there was snow in Philadelphia in February. And then I rode across country and I got here to California, and it was a beautiful, gorgeous, sunshiny day. I took my shirt off and got a sunburn in February. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's cold over here on the East Coast, man.
Yeah, I
it sucks over here.
Yeah, I lived in Philadelphia and I lived in Detroit too. Detroit, super cold.
Matt is here. He says they still use them.
Yep.
Yeah. So what is going to be in this show, and what's different between the show you did 10 years ago and now?
So all the slides are exactly the same, in the same order and everything. I don't know how well the video is going to work out on this one, but we'll see. And
what you got on video, man? That's the nitty gritty that I want to know.
What?
What's the videos like? What do you got over there?
Well, I'll show. I'll show the live Techno Destructo show that we did in '91 with the Slave Revolt.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It starts off with they're doing this voodoo dance thing. It's during Danielle's fire dance. So it starts with Danielle's fire dance. And then after that, the Techno Destructo is on the scaffolding set, and he uses a chain like fishing, and he ropes the different slaves and pulls them up there on the top of the scaffolding. And we had this anvil and these mind control boxes. Excuse me. And so Techno hammers the mind control boxes on the slaves' heads and sends them out to attack GWAR all at the same time. And then he comes down. He's a slave. He's hanging out with all the other slaves at this point in the show. And so he gets out in front, and all the slaves come and put his armor on him, and then he sings his song and stuff. And then GWAR summons Gorgor to kill Techno Destructo. But when Gorgor comes out, he's got a big car engine built into his head, and he goes straight for Odorous and starts chomping Odorous.
Yeah, that was one of the best shows ever. I mean, wasn't old enough to actually see it in person, but I think that was one of the best set lists in GWAR's history and storylines.
It was the funnest. It was the funnest.
Is there like a very good document of that show?
Well, when I had that Techno Destructo, that Return of Techno Destructo bootleg video with the mysterious space dominatrix, it's got a yellow.
Here, you talk. I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, it looks like this. The cover looks like this.
Yeah.
So that has like a chronology sort of all the different times that Techno Destructo attacked GWAR over the years. So that and I think it takes it up to the slave revolt that we just talked about. It takes it that far. And then but it's got a lot of the early wacky crazy stuff that we did and all. And there was a lot of weird stuff. Like we
There you
used to
go.
do a Christmas show. That's the one. That's the one. We used to do a Christmas show, and I was the three-headed wise man, right? And so Tech comes out, and he's got this weird collar thing. It looks like a car engine, of course, and it's got two other heads. So he has three heads, and Odorous chops them off one at a time, and Techno goes, "Wait, I've got this." He takes the collar off and holds it up, and I'm gonna destroy you with this. And he goes, it's got a tag on it because the name of this machine is like, I wrote down all of the longest multiple syllable words I could and put them on this tag, and he reads off the name of this machine, and it's like this huge complicated name. And Odorous goes, "Oh yeah, well how does it work?" And Techno goes, "Like this," and he hits him over the head with it, bang, And we also did, "And observe, the Earth is round." So Techno turns around and throws it off the stage in this direction. And then we had another one that they would throw on from the other side of the stage. That would fly and hit Odorous in the back of the head, like it had gone all the way around the world, and then hit Odorous in the back of the head and stuff. And we used to do a lot of weird, crazy shit like that too.
That's a 97 show? No, that sounds really old. Is that an old show you're talking about?
No.
About what year was that one?
Maybe 87.
Yeah, that's what I think. 87 was like the Dawn of the Penguins and stuff about.
87 would have been like, it was
97.
Yeah, it probably would have been like more like mid 90s, not quite 97, but it would have been probably after the slave revolt. But I don't know. It would have been when we were still at the Rockets building.
That must have been before that, I imagine.
When the slave pit was right across from
Matt,
Rockets.
you got any insight on that?
What do you mean?
Matt's in the chat. Maybe he remembers.
Yeah, it was when we were at when the slave pit was at the building that was straight across the street from Rockets. And at Christmas time we would always put together we would always take everything and sort of like rehash it in a Christmas theme. Like we had Bob had made that big goat demon thing, and we just gave him a big red nose, and then we had Tiny, the guy that gets split in half. That guy would just put an elf hat on him, and he was supposed to be like Santa's elf. Oh yeah, and a lot of times we did this fucking hilarious scene where I would play Santa Claus, and we had this somebody made a beard out of some rope, and they had just frayed it all out and then put some like gross shit in it and cigarette butts and all stuff like that. And I had this guy that had lived at the dairy. His name was Ignatius, and he used to make these crazy hats. And he made me a hat that was a Santa Claus hat, but it was sort of like a Ku Klux Klan hood at the same time, where it had this grill that you look through, and the fur part came all the way around your face, down over your nose, so you could just see your mouth and all. So that was my Santa Claus suit. And that was also Cardinal Sin's early robes too. It was red. And so I'm Santa Claus, and I've got this, we did the old take a fifth of an empty bottle of liquor and fill it up with tea or something, So I'm like chugging this fifth, and Mike Bonner comes out as GWAR's slave, and he's going to sit on my lap, and of course Santa Claus is trying to butt fuck him and stuff. And once it starts to really get out of control, GWAR breaks through the Ripplewave, paper wall and like kills Santa Claus, rescues the slave from the Santa Claus. And then later on, they have Santa Claus crucified. He comes out, he's crucified on the Christmas tree and all.
and he
Man, I've never seen that one.
Well, in that show, he's Cardinal Sin. The Santa Claus turns out to be Cardinal Sin.
Oh, okay.
That's not. I wasn't Techno Destructo in that one. I was Cardinal
Right.
Sin. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that was one of the very many variations on Cardinal Sin that we did.
Matt says beer bottle caps. What does that mean?
I'm not sure exactly.
And I wanted to say thank you to Skeletor. Mwahahaha. Gwar. Just says Gwar. You got a question? You send a question. Cool, man. Yeah. That's the secret. I wish I could be there. I'm on the wrong coast, and that's also my birthday, so I have a show here planned. You guys, Jane Jensen from Tromeo and Juliet's going to interview me. So if you're not at Hunter's show, you can be here on YouTube with me hanging out.
Oh man, but before we the whole hour goes away and we haven't talked about it yet, I also want to talk about something really cool that's going on, and Matt is involved in this, and that is I've been working on this game called Roller Brawl.
Ta-da!
And it's a roller
Roller Brawl.
It's a roller derby game, and it sort of like ties in. This is one of the characters. This is Matt's artwork, and then Saul Blair is the sculptor. He 3D sculpted this with a computer program, and that the miniatures are awesome. This is the Detroit Prime team, which is like the human team, and then there's another team that's like the weird mutant team with the Brudicorn and the quarterback that has the tentacle arm and the two goblins on the skateboards. And so in this game, the characters are like rolling around on the skateboards and the roller skates and stuff. And they're you score points by going between the two columns. And we've been working on the rules and play testing them like crazy. There you can see the two columns. And so the players are zooming around the track and beating each other up and trying to push each other into the obstacles. And the skateboards can grind off of these obstacles as well and jump up in the air and clobber people. And there's the mutant girl as an actual painted mini, So we're aiming on trying to do a Kickstarter like within the year, I'm hoping maybe. Nice. And but we're play testing the hell out of it to make sure. My main emphasis in being involved in the group is play testing it a lot because I'm like a super intense game geek and I've played all kinds of games and stuff. And I want to make sure that this game is fun and quick and easy to play. So there's lots of game aids, lots of cards to help you keep track of what's going on with little chits and stuff like that. And I've done a couple of conventions. I did a convention in Wisconsin, and I did another one in Philadelphia that where we're playing it with people. There's our test board there, and so that's Saul Blair on the far right, and then Brian Shutter is in the middle. He's kind of the team captain of the group. And he does this game called Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland.
Yeah.
Which is like an RPG.
He was nice enough to send me one of his books.
Yeah.
He was a guest on this show, and I'll show you guys the flyer for that later, but check it out.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I had a lot of fun hanging out with him at the conventions and stuff and play testing the game with people, showing it to people. We got a really good response off of everything so far.
So is this, I know you're like really into the miniature games. Is this like the game that you always wanted for yourself that you're like creating finally?
In a way, yeah. Because what happened was Matt was already on the team and doing all the artwork. Saul and him worked together really well. And I used to work for a miniature company too, doing drawings where they would.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about that on the last episode. That gets into a dramatic territory, right?
Yeah, so I have some experience in the area and all that, and I am a super big, intense game geek. But when he told me about it, I was like, wow, I want to be in on that. Because over the years, we used to play our own sort of weird made-up game in the GWAR space and stuff, and I've always really wanted to do a roller derby style game. So I had a few ideas
already that I wanted to incorporate it into it. And we're also I'm going to be doing art for it as well. Matt and I are going to do a really incredible box thing together.
Nice.
And I like that. So it's something to look forward to, and I can wait till it comes out myself. They're going to be 2 teams with 5 guys on each team, and it's going to be really fun. It's going to be super fun.
I have a little update. Well, just for my collection. I didn't have any of these last time, and now I have a couple slaves. If you can see them. They're
from
all
the
over the place.
original War game.
From the Rumble in Antarctica game.
Yeah, that was really fun. Casey Orr
These are
was
really
Beefcake.
rare. I don't really seek these out, but if they come my way, it's like, okay, yeah, sure. I should get those.
Yeah, it was fun. When that game came out, Casey Orr and I were promoting it during the tour, and we would go to different Game Geek stores and play against each other. And I had a team that had Techno Destructo, Scrotamoon, and Slamendra on it. And I think he played Beefcake and Ballsack and Odorous and Flatus. Because Flatus's character, he's like a super intense drug addict. So sometimes he's really good, but sometimes he's really not good, you know. So that game was really fun, and Beefcake won about half the time, and I won about half the time too. It was
Sounds about right. Well, I never got to play it. I don't even know how it works. But do you think there would ever be? And this is for Matt in the chat too. Another, like, do you think this could lead into another GWAR miniature game at some point?
Well, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that, because Brian Shutter, I don't know if he probably talked. You did an interview with him already, right?
Yeah, it was probably like 2 years ago though. So
wow. Well,
maybe I don't know.
He the game that he sells, the Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland, it's like a post-apocalyptic RPG, but it's really crazy and has a lot of really wacky sense of humor to it.
Great art too. Always great art.
Yeah, it's got a lot of cool art, and like it has like the Bruticorn characters that are these big muscle-bound unicorn dudes, and lots of other weird things in it too. It's like a Mad Max. The way he describes it as GWAR and Toxic Avenger and all this stuff mixed together. You know.
Yeah.
And, it is pretty. He does have a really similar sense of humor and all that stuff as GWAR, and he actually. It sort of started out as a GWAR RPG, but GWAR sort of is shackled to their management company in a way, and it sort of takes a long time.
He had like a bootleg Scumdogs characters.
Well, it has some stuff in it.
Yeah.
Just because Brian, it sort of started as a GWAR RPG, and then GWAR was sort of dragging their feet as far as committing to it and all this sort of stuff, and so he put it out. He just sort of took the GWAR parts out of it and put it out. Right. And so the Roller Brawl is actually sort of the national sport of the Neon Lords universe, kind of. I guess.
Yeah, I figured.
So that it is tied into that same universe, and if GWAR is able to work things out and make their management understand that, yes, this could be a thing that you could actually make money off of, that fans would be into, then it's highly possible that the GWAR RPG will actually come out, and that would be great. You know,
Would you think it would be a brand new thing, or would it be like a continuation of the Rumble?
No, it would be a whole different thing.
Yeah,
it'd be a whole different thing, because the Rumble in Antarctica game system is sort of tied to this dice rolling system that it's sort of like a proprietary thing that Aaron Overton, who is one of the main guys at Metal Blade, Demon Blade, that sort of owns the game or whatever. So
right on.
Yeah, it's too tied in with all that stuff. We'd have to start over and do it new, but it would still be awesome. And hanging out with Brian, and I've sort of like starting to come to realize that maybe RPGs aren't as bad as I've always thought they were.
Oh, really? You said you hated D&D last time.
Oh, I still hate D&D.
Okay.
No question about that. That's not changing.
Okay.
But I discovered another game going to these conventions. That's one of the bad things about being a game geek addict. When you go into the wrong environment, you could be exposed to new games that you might get addicted to. That will.
What did you get addicted to?
I got addicted to this game. It's not new at all. It's been out for 10 years. I've known about it. It's been like circling out there. I've known, but I haven't ever really got into it or bought any of the stuff. Right. So Brian gives me, because he has multiple copies, he gives me a copy of this game system called Shadows of Brimstone, right? Which is it's like a Western Cthulhu kind of game, and it's an RPG. It's an RPG, but it also uses miniatures. So it's miniatures.
That's your thing.
And so, yeah, see, that's the thing. I like the toy soldiers. So as long as the game uses miniatures and stuff. And the other cool thing about it is that you're alleviated the dungeon master, right? Because everything is generated by decks of cards. So you have all of these possibilities that could happen, that the story is going to unfold just like an RPG, and you're going to get to fight all these cool monsters and stuff. And but it's done in a way where you're not at the mercy of a dungeon master who might be withholding information from you just to tease you, or just because they're a shitty dungeon master.
Are you referencing anybody in the GWAR camp or just in general?
Just every person I've ever played D&D with in general.
Interesting. So these new figures, are they? I'm guessing they're like 3D printed at this point.
No, they're plastic. They come out on trees, just like GW stuff, Games Workshop, Warhammer stuff.
So I was gonna say, like, if there was a GWAR game in the future, like, do you think the production is like cheaper and more accessible now than it was back then?
Well, everything comes from China. It's all fucking made in China. They've got the system over there to produce the shit and crank it out, and there's been a big, huge, I'm sure I said it in our last interview, there's been a big, huge, like explosion of growth in the game geek industry, because everybody's doing these amazing Kickstarters with all these incredible figures and stuff. And you lay down like $300, $400, $500, and you get this gigantic box of shit that's like this big, and it's fucking amazing.
I mean, I think for me, I would just buy it because of GWAR,
I got my game geek fix.
Yeah,
it's like that,
I would just buy it for the GWAR characters, even if I never played it, like the card game. I'm still waiting to play that fucking thing. Matt, is there a way to do that online? Can we make a show out of that? Let me know.
I did one of the games I bought was this Batman game. Okay. I'm never gonna play that game. I know I'm never gonna play that game.
Are there miniatures?
But the miniatures are fucking awesome. It was of the old the Bruce Timm Batman series, from the 90s.
Right.
And it had all the characters, Man-Bat and all the Joker and Penguin and all those characters, all exactly like they were on the cartoon show. So
yeah,
how could I resist that? Oh my god!
Speaking of toys, have you seen the GWAR toys yet? The new ones?
Of course not.
No. Well, I mean, they're not out yet, but what do you think?
Wow.
Yeah, Trick or Treat Studios.
They look like they could beat up He-Man easy.
I think they're like sort of He-Man sized. I think Matt could confirm or deny. And I guess we got to put it out there. Is the next wave going to be the Destructos or what, man?
That would be great.
My biggest, problem with them is I don't know if I have space for more toys, GWAR toys. But yeah, I think this is the best one yet, and I think Odorous is like you got to buy them all to get the pieces to build him up.
Oh yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah. Hopefully those will be out soon. We keep hearing that. I'm looking forward to it. My bank account is not looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to having those on my shelf.
And there's one other thing I want to talk about. This is subject number 3.
Go for it.
And this is really exciting. This is going to be something that happens in April. So you've got plenty of time to get it together so you can be there. Because in April, I think it's like the 16th, which is like a Wednesday. That's going to be the week this is going to be in Las Vegas, because WrestleMania this year is going to be in Las Vegas. And they're going to be, when WrestleMania is in Las Vegas, there's so many places that have little wrestling shows and stuff. And on April 16th, Techno Destructo is going to wrestle in Las Vegas. I'm going to be the headlining match. And why would anybody want to go see this show when there's so many other crazy wrestling shows going on that week in Las Vegas? Why would anybody want to come and see Techno Destructo wrestle?
Everyone say it with me. Why?
Because I'm going to be doing this show with incredible, super gorgeous stripper motor chick that does shows in Las Vegas. And this show is going to have more super hot chicks with hardly any clothes on than any other wrestling show in town. So you got to come and check it out. It's
nice. Fun. What's it? Does it have a name or?
I think they're calling it Double Dragon something or other.
Yeah. But, whenever you get a flyer, I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, we're still working on it
yet.
Let me hold on a second. I got my list of people that are going to be in the show.
Well, let's hear it. And then we're going to do random questions and stuff.
But
so
meanwhile, let me tell you a story about how this actually happened.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because I wanted to make, I just turned 65, right?
Incredible.
So I wanted to do a super crazy Techno Destructo video project on my 65th birthday. I took off from work and I'd saved up a bunch of money to pay for it all. And, but everything kept falling through. All the people I was trying to work with, it was too short notice and all this stuff. I really was having a hard time. So I ended up going to Las Vegas. I contacted Jennifer Thomas, who is this really incredible promoter who does all female wrestling shows. Some of my work with her is on the House of Huntar YouTube channel and stuff like that, where I wrestled Shelly Martinez and all that stuff. So, so I contacted her to see if she had some female talent for me to wrestle with to make this video. And she says, well, you're calling me at the perfect time because I'm getting ready to do this huge show in Las Vegas that very weekend. And it's going to have like an ultimate fighting challenge ring, and it's going to have 2 wrestling rings, and there's going to be boxing, Greco-Roman style wrestling, and all this stuff, all female talent, right? So, come on down, you can be in the show, So I'm like, cool, all right. So then as the show gets closer and closer, when I call her the next time, she goes, oh my God, Hunter, I'm sorry. The card is so full. We don't have room for you anymore, because she had like packed it with, and there's things going on simultaneously and all kinds of stuff. And then she goes, but you should come to the after party
and I'm sure there'll be people around that you know, and we'll find somebody to get in the ring with you, you know, and all like that. So I go to the party, I go to the thing, and I go to the after show, but Jennifer Thomas also does this thing called Session Girls Wrestling that you may have heard about. That's mostly like sort of like it's hard for me to relate to this concept, but it's sort of like creepy old guys pay girls to like wrestle them and like grind their crotches.
Oh yeah, I know girls like that here in New York.
So yeah, it's sort of like that thing. And Jennifer Thomas sometimes helps orchestrate events like that as well.
Probably in LA too.
And it turns out that at this particular event, they had all these like private booths that were all curtained off where people were going to like do this. And the problem was that all of the wrestling girls that I wanted to work with, they did their thing and went home. You know, they're tired, they're all beat up, they went home to rest. You know, so none of the girls I wanted to work with were there. And we ended up, but they had the rings there. So I got one of these session girls to get in the ring with me. And but she said that she was experienced at the, you know, the wrestling moves and stuff that I wanted to do, but she really wasn't. And it wasn't long before we ran out of the things that we could do, and she just started falling back into what she knew, you know. And next thing you know, she's on top of me, grinding her pussy in my face, and I'm like flailing around, gasping for breath. But I had brought two girls with me, and one of them was Lillifer, who is this girl I'm talking about, who is super gorgeous. She's about 6 feet tall, and she's got about 4 feet worth of legs on her. She's just an incredible work of art, right? And she's been promoting shows in Vegas for a while, and she's a super big GWAR fan. And she goes, I was like, this girl is a stripper in Las Vegas, and she took the night off to come and be Techno Destructo's escort. Do you realize what a financial, you know, blow she must have taken to sacrifice that just to hang out with me because she's a GWAR fan, you know? And she goes, I've got to show you this. And so she shows me this video on her cell phone that's of her doing her strip show, and she's cosplaying as Slimenstra. But not only is she cosplaying as Slimenstra, she's stripping to Don't Need a Man. Wow. And not only is she stripping to Don't Need a Man, she's got the video playing behind her during the act.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God, Danielle has got to see that. Danielle would be so flattered and so blown away. You know, I've got to tell Danielle about this.
Did you tell her?
Yeah.
What did she think?
Yeah, she was impressed because, you know, over the years, you know, Danielle, when I do these mysterious space dominatrix stuff and all, Danielle, sometimes she gets really offended. She feels like they're copying her or whatever. And
yeah, I really want to talk to her about that.
Yeah, and it's like now she realizes that it really is a tribute. They really are doing it because they love her and want to be like her.
Yeah,
know? And
right.
they want to. It's like a tribute to her, you know. And so what this show is, in a way, I'm going to wrestle in it and all that stuff, and it's going to be fun and crazy. I have my robot. I'm going to be in control of a lot of what I get to do, so it's going to be wide open. And but it's the lead-in. If this show goes well, I'm really hoping that we can do a tribute to Slimenstra show where we'll actually have Danielle there, maybe even breathing fire and stuff. Although the laws about doing that have changed a lot over the years. Since you know, there have been a lot of dumbass tragedies and stuff. that make it so that people can blow fire. But I'll tell you what, I saw plenty of shit when hanging out with Danielle and doing that. I remember one time they had, they put plastic all across the ceiling and plastic everywhere.
Right, yeah, for the
blood
blood.
from the blood. And then Danielle comes out and she blows this huge fireball that rolls across the ceiling, and it just melted a big hole. You could just see the plastic just, this big hole comes in the plastic. Nothing caught on fire. Caught on fire, but it melted a huge hole in that plastic, man. Wow. But the other thing about it too is that, and the main reason, the number one reason why GWAR never had any fire incidents is that we have a carpet on the stage to give us friction so we won't slip in the blood, right? But that carpet gets saturated with fake blood liquid, and that's why that's not catching on fire anytime soon, So Danielle could put the torches down in an X like a campfire right on the stage with no fear whatsoever that it's going to happen. And on top of that, Danielle always had a wet towel ready to go to, you put when you're done, you put the torches in the wet towel and fold it over, they go right out.
Oh yeah, so, she's a pro.
Yeah, so you have to be smart about it and you have to do it right, or crazy shit's going to happen, like with the mentors, and shit's going to catch on fire. El Duce used to take fucking lighter fluid and pour it all over the cymbals during the show and set it on fire. He was the drummer.
Right. Yeah, but he was drunk.
Yeah, while he was drunk, it didn't give a shit if the club burned down or not,
Right, yeah, he was, man. I mean, I know you knew him a little bit. Like, that guy, man, what a complicated character he was.
He was fun to hang out with until he got too drunk. Once he got too drunk, he was like the total mindless torpedo, where he's a physically powerful guy. So whatever he wants to do, nobody's going to be able to stop him.
Yeah, I think I said this last time, but I got to recommend very highly to this audience, go watch the El Duce tapes, a documentary about the mentors, and Hunter's in it. And I think some of the other GWAR guys are in it. I think there's an interview on the tour bus with Mike Bishop and a couple other guys. Great documentary.
Yeah, he was a funny guy. He was a funny
we lost one of the mentors recently. I think one of them just died recently.
Yeah, and it's a weird story too about a bunch of fans that came into the band and sort of like kicked out all the original members.
Oh, really? I think he was an original. I think it was it Sicky Wife Beater, maybe?
Yeah, Sicky Wife Beater was one of the original guys.
I think it was him. Don't quote me. One of them died recently. That sucks. I saw them once in New York at like a really seedy club where I think it was probably illegal, and the girls were all like, it was like a tiki bar where they were all wearing like bikinis and stuff. And then there was like a punk rock stage in the back. Weird, very weird. I played there once with Michael G. I don't know if I should say his name anymore. Michael G from a band called the Misfits. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, they were fun. They were fun, man. And the Misfits and El Duce and his band as well were instrumental in helping us get gigs up and down the East Coast when we first started out. El Duce was the first person that would give clubs our cassette tape and say, hey, you should let these guys play.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to book the mentors, I think they're equipped to book GWAR.
Yeah, we did a few shows with them as well together.
Yeah. How was that?
Oh,
we were on the Jerry Springer show together.
They would ride the bus. They would ride on our bus sometimes too.
Right.
And that was when it would get really crazy. When
okay, you need to leave now.
They would all be cooped up in the bus and bored, and shit would happen.
Was this the school bus?
Yeah, back in the school bus days.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Before we even had, in the early school bus, before we had even made it nice.
Right. God. All right. Should we go to random stuff? I mean, I'm not on a time limit or anything.
Those were the three things I really wanted to talk about.
great. Now we can just like zip
Are
around.
there any
And,
questions or any other?
yeah. Let me catch up with the chat here. I got this super chat here. Will there be a live recording of the Secret Origins of GWAR or some kind of pay-per-view system for international fans?
I would like to do that. Because I have a couple of different videos of it being performed at different times, you know. And since it's the same slides and the same show, I can edit them all together and make some kind of thing out of it. That's on my to-do list. It is. But
Right.
if it ever gets done or not, we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But
You're gonna have someone there recording, you know, the night.
yeah, there'll be people there recording it.
Cool.
And this show I'm doing with Lily in Las Vegas, we're gonna have a lot of cameras on that. There's gonna be a DJ and there's gonna be a lot of eye candy and videos being played and stuff. That one is really gonna be wild.
All right. Well, let's catch up here. Matt, yeah, let's talk about that. I don't know how that would work, so we'll have to figure it out. Yeah, the toys are coming. They're He-Man size, and yes, if they Phase 2 is bad guys if it all goes well. So get your toys in. Maybe we'll get a Techno.
Yeah, do the Techno Destructo.
I would love to, you know, get all three of them, you know.
Tell us why.
Tell us why. I don't know what that was. Oh, and he was saying about the beer caps were in that guy's beard, he said.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, when the drunk Santa Claus had the weird, it had bottle caps in it too. That's right. Okay.
It's looking like April for pre-orders, so cool. I have enough time to get some money in the bank. Let's see what we got. Yeah, same, my friend. Well, we'll see how it goes. Yay. Okay, we're all talking to each other. Cool. Anyone got any questions? Oh, we got someone flying out from Florida for your show.
Oh my God. Well,
I
hope you make it okay.
Don said that if ceilings caught on fire, that Scott Call would put them out with spew. I could see that. Yes, it was a good doc. The El Duce tapes, go check it out. I talked to that guy once. He was cool. GWAR and the Misfits are definitely in my top 5 favorite bands. Yeah, well, you know, back in 95, 96, you guys did a lot of touring together, right?
Yeah. There's another Misfit. There are actually 2 Misfits. Not Misfits. I keep saying Misfits.
Mentors?
Mentors. There are 2 different Mentor documentaries.
Yeah.
Both of them are really good.
The first one, I forget what it was called. I have it. I think the El Duce tapes were a lot better. It was a better documentary. But yes, you're in both of them, so go check them out.
To be honest, I'm not right here and now. I'm not sure which one is which in my mind.
Well, so the El Duce tapes came out more recently, I think during the pandemic, and it was kind of like all this tapes from the 90s that had never been seen before. And so you're in like archival footage, you know, from like the early 90s. And then the other one, I think, is like a more recent interview with you. And it was kind of down and dirty, and it was like poorly lit shots of the old band members talking, you know, post El Duce, and it was just not as nicely put together. And you could tell they're getting progressively more wasted during the shoot. So it was kind of like, oh man, it's a little cringy from what I remember. The El Duce tapes was way cooler because it's all like archival footage, you know, and like, man, seeing interviews with GWAR back then, like on the bus, Mike Bishop, he must have been like 21 or 22, like real young. It's pretty cool. We got a question from Vinny. When you decided to come back to do the 30th anniversary, how was the vibe between you and the guys? Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last time, but go ahead.
They were really nice to me. And everything went good. I mean, I came there with a mission to, make it happen, and whatever happened, I was ready to roll with it. And nobody was aggro. Nobody was there to fight. We were there to do the show. And when I went on tour with them, it was awesome. I had a great time, man. I really hope that I get to do it some more. I really do.
It really showed. What I
Playing
saw, the
Matt.
one show I saw with you, you were like super happy looking.
Yeah, man, and I was kind of bummed out with the 30th anniversary live stream thing because they sort of cut my fight scene part, and I didn't really get to. I came there and I really was looking forward to showing off some of the wrestling shit I'd learned since I'd left, but I didn't really get to do that very much. But then when we got to do the live show, then it was a lot more fun, and Matt and I got to really fight and all that stuff. So it was really fun. I had a really good time, and I'd like to do it again.
Yeah,
I'm bummed I didn't get video of it. I didn't get, but I'm working on that.
I think I sent you my video. It's just crowd shot on my cell phone, but you and Chuck was up there with you too.
And I had since last time I talked to you, I had the weirdest fucking computer crash, guy. Man, I couldn't believe this happened. So somehow, I've always kept I do certain things on my laptop and I do certain things on my phone. And I don't I try to keep them separate from each other, and somehow, but the link was Facebook. Sometimes I started to look at Facebook on my phone, which I didn't used to do at all. So I look at Facebook on my phone, and next thing you know, through Facebook Messenger, my phone gets into my my desktop computer, and goes, "Oh, you're outdated. You need to update." So my fucking Messenger, because of Messenger, my desktop computer upgrades, and suddenly, boom, none of my shit works anymore. And so I haven't been able to. It's been more than a year since I've been able to edit anything, and that's why I haven't been able to post anything to YouTube or any of that. Man, I'm really
external hard drives. That's what I do.
I'm super pissed.
Yeah. So wait, did you lose everything?
I lost some stuff, but for the most part, I try really hard to keep everything on a separate drive, which everybody should do, so that if you have stupid shit like that happen, you don't lose all your work. But there were plenty of things, man, that I hadn't backed up yet. Like one of the things I lost was I was working with that guy James Balsamo, that
we're gonna talk about him again.
Guy.
Yeah.
So he had this really cool mastodon in his yard, like one that would be at a putt-putt course, So I was like, "Oh man, you got to let me shoot something with that." And so I did a wrestling promo that was so funny, where Techno is getting ready to go to this rap match in Florida, but he's trying to figure out how to get there. And Barrister Orlock,
he's here somewhere. He's in the chat.
Yeah, he's here. Barrister Orlock helps him alter his armor into a time travel device, right? And he's like, "But Techno, be careful. If you don't do it right, you could end up in, like, I don't know, in the Ice Age or something." So next thing you know,
yeah, you were talking about this last time.
Techno is in the Ice Age, and he gets attacked by a mastodon, and his valet is going, "Oh, it's cold," it's funny. And James Balsamo played this announcer, like a wrestling announcer. So he comes up and he's like, doing the wrestling announcer thing. And then when they travel back in time, he reverts to a Neanderthal man. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. He did such a good acting job on it. And that was one of the things that was on my computer being edited when it crashed.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had any new video stuff happening, because I know you were talking about.
I have a huge backlog. It's backing up. I've got more. I'm doing more projects like that. The shit I shot a ton of cool stuff on my birthday. I was just talking about. Even though everything sort of fell through, we still got plenty of really good footage that I'm going to use for something someday.
But the footage still exists, just like the editing is gone.
It's still out there. We shot it. I just have to get some kind of editing shit going on so I can start putting shit out again. It sucks. But
That's funny you mentioned. You know what I was watching last night because I had never actually seen any of his movies before. I watched some of Alien Danger.
uh-oh. How was that? Did you like it?
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've
You're
seen
in it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I felt like I was on way more drugs than I actually was. I
Yeah,
guess
it's
I'll say
it's
that.
pretty trippy. It's pretty trippy.
Yeah, after 20 minutes, I kind of fast forwarded to your scene, and then that was it.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed that he did my scene in fast motion. From what I
Right.
remember of being there that day, I had some kind of high hopes, but I'm always like that, man. I always like it's always the difference between what it feels like when you're doing it and then what it
It looked
actually looks
cool.
like.
Yeah, and then yeah.
Sometimes there's a gap. Sometimes there's a gap.
Have you I know you were in some of his other movies. Are they all of this quality or
Yeah.
yeah?
Yeah, he's trying to get it. He's trying to put out as many movies as he possibly
I
can.
noticed.
And he's like the trauma mentality too, you know. And
Mhm.
I worked with him some. It was really challenging though because he doesn't want to spend any money. So I was always, in a way, it was really
I could
fun because
tell.
I was like, okay, you know, I've got to like pull out my like super MacGyver ability and try to make something out of. I've got to make this full alien costume out of a paper clip and an eraser, you know. And so in a way it was like I really had to dig deep to work with it, and I felt like I came out with some cool stuff, kind of, you know.
Well, this one you were just playing yourself,
Yeah, but it was that was when I was I'm talking about building props because I
Right.
built a lot of props and costumes for
For this movie or for other ones?
the second. I made a lot of stuff on the Alien Danger 2.
There's a sequel.
There's a sequel to it.
Oh,
And
boy.
here's the funny part. When I went to the premiere of the Alien Danger 2, something had gone wrong. He like rented out the Man's Chinese Theater too.
Wow.
When he does premieres, he rents out the Man's Chinese Theater. No
That's
shit.
where the budget went.
And but all the people that were in the movie were there, but something weird happened and the actual cut of the movie wasn't there, so he showed Alien Danger 1 again.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh.
Wah, wah.
But James Balsamo is an awesome guy, and I really had a good time hanging out with him, and I hope I get to do stuff with him again someday.
Yeah, I talked to him once, not in person, but we went to the same college, it turns out. I think at the same time. We didn't know each other though.
Oh yeah, and here's one for GWAR fans. There's one of his movies it's the golf movie.
Slice, yeah, that's the one I still want to see.
Yeah, Slice.
Yeah.
Slice has Tub Tucker, you know, played by Casey Orr. He's actually playing Tub Tucker by that name, and he's playing the exact same character that he plays in X-Cops, and it's in that movie. And not only that, his deputies are me and Danielle.
Yeah, that's the reason I want to seek that one out. I couldn't find that one streaming, or I would have watched that one first. I might have to go buy Slice. Oh my god.
But yeah, I haven't seen Slice
really
yet, but I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, well, I'll watch your scenes at least. Okay, let's change course. Okay, we talked about James. Yeah, that was an interesting 20 minutes of my life last night. It is on Amazon Prime for free if anyone's curious. Techno Destructo is a character.
I think he did a movie that has Brocky in it too.
Yeah, Hack Job.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. I heard it's pretty bad. That was a long time ago too, so I'm sure if this is what his quality is now, imagine that like 15 years ago, whatever, 20 years ago. Anyways, I should probably watch it someday.
But one thing I want to talk about too is if you come to Secret Origins of GWAR, or if you come and see me at the show in April,
I will definitely have a super awesome swag booth where you can get cool stuff that's hard to find other places.
What
And
you got?
one of the things I'm going to be selling is the Heroes Roam the Earth comic.
Yes.
You'll have a chance to get that and get me to autograph it, it's a post-apocalyptic superhero story about Lady Liberty, the all-American superhero fighting the legion of undead neo-Nazis. That's right. Nazis are bad, just in case you forgot. And it's all full color.
Right. Yes, I have mine in the. It's way back in here somewhere with all my other GWAR comics.
So I have that, and some other junk, T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yes, go, and if you're not there, go to House
bring
of Hunt
cash.
Bar with an A and go buy it there.
That's right. You too can help support the arts. Make sure you bring cash, though.
Right, cash is king.
Yeah. And help me create more of the sick stuff that you crave, because that's where the money's going to go.
Are there more comics in the works at the moment?
Always.
I remember last time you were saying you were compiling all your GWAR stuff into an omnibus. How is that going? Is it
I'm
going?
still working. I'm in the coal mine, chipping away at that.
Right.
But it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. GWAR.
And also,
yes.
Also, you can get your very own copy of the Don Draculich Big Book of Scoff that
the Bob Gorman.
Yeah, Bob Gorman put it together. There you go. And it's awesome. The text is bullshit, but the pictures are so awesome.
Yeah.
That it's definitely worth getting, man. It's got a lot of amazing shit in here.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to follow up actually on talking about this. So my last episode was with Bob Gorman. Go check it out, you guys. It was a good one. Yeah, and I heard you guys talked about the book. Did you guys like kind of reconcile about the text of the book? I heard he's changing a few things for the reissue.
It's possible. Yeah, we are. Because some of that stuff was just so petty and weird and snarky and kind of unnecessary. Plus, and a lot of stuff, it really was kind of distorted, and that's really not what happened. So, yeah,
so you guys had to get together about it.
There is going to be a reissue, and we are trying to tighten it up and correct some of the misinformation and stuff.
That's good to hear. We like to see it come together.
And I don't know. That's about all I know about it.
Right.
I'm sure Bob elaborated a lot more than that.
Yeah, everyone go watch the last episode with Bob Gorman. It was great. I asked you about this last time, but you didn't know, I couldn't find it, so I couldn't show it to you. But I found it this time. It's part of the book. This is just like a nerdy question. But what do you know about this advertisement from 1987? Bootlegger's Choice Video live footage. Was this your thing? And what were these tapes that... If you want, I could tell you what page it's on if you want to look at it yourself.
Oh, it's in the book?
Yeah, it's page 53. 63. 63.
T-shirts, $10. That's got to be early on.
Yeah, it says well, you did the border art.
It's Chuck. There's no question about it. Chuck did that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if
early mail order flyer. Yeah. I'm just so curious. What were you guys selling on video in 1987?
It's 87?
I think so.
Then I'll bet you it's probably The Next Mutation.
Yeah. No, that was later than 87, I think.
Yeah. The Next Mutation should be about 87. That's one of the first ones made.
Yeah, I think
that seems a little early for that.
I think the Next Mutation was the first one that we made.
Yeah, no, I think this is something else. But I don't know. I'm putting it out there. It's look, chronicles exploits dating to the dim time.
I don't know. Maybe it's something that Don and Chuck were going to put out on the sly somehow. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, if anyone has any info, I'm also curious. I know there's been like a lot of lost footage around that time, like especially Bob is telling me specifically that he's really trying to fill in the gaps of 1987. It's sort of like a lapse in media in that year. And it looks like you guys were selling something from the era, and that's interesting to me.
Well, see, I returned from Detroit in 1987. It was in October 1987, which would have been the end of the year. So
yeah, so maybe you had nothing to do with that.
That summer, probably in June, in the early summer, I had come back to do a show with them because Ted Sanderson, the guy that I was making movies with in college and stuff, he and I collaborated on a lot of our college projects.
Yeah.
So he and I still wanted to finish up some stuff we had done with the movie, right? So we were going to film some stuff. We were going to film a bank scene that we did, and we were shooting all this on Super 8. And we shot a banquet scene, and then we were going to shoot a live show. And see, when I split for Detroit, I'd taken all the costumes that I made and stored them in my parents' attic. And I moved to Detroit for a year to try to make it in a big city.
Right.
And I was working at this ad agency and doing really well. And I was like the assistant they didn't really like my artwork that much, but I was a production assistant and I was helping the boss of the art agency, delegate to all the different people. So I learned a lot of cool shit that I couldn't wait to come back to, to bring to GWAR. But anyway, during that time, they were like, oh, come on, Hunter, we need the costumes. We need the costumes. And so I agreed to come back and do this one show on the condition that I would be able to get them back at the end, right? And so what happens is Chuck, while we're breaking the show down, Chuck takes me off to get something to eat, which was a sneaky plan and while we're getting something to eat, waiting for them to break down the show so we could put everything away, musically break it down. So while the musicians are doing their thing, we go to eat, and Chuck hits me with this super intense hard sell that they really want to use the props and costumes to continue to start touring, which was one of the things I had a problem with, was that they never toured outside of Richmond. Right. So I was like, well, if they actually want to tour outside of Richmond and do something with it, maybe, So I agreed to it. Then we get back there, and it turns out that Dave and Don had already squirreled away, taken all the stuff, basically stolen it and hidden it, just in case I said no, that's like a microcosm of my entire experience with this.
Right.
It really, really is. And so they had already stolen everything. But then the funny part about it was they did a couple of shows and they left, because they were such lazy fucks, left everything in the bus. They didn't want to unload the bus and put it away in some kind of safe way because they were too fucking lazy. So all the neighborhood kids broke into the GWAR bus and stole all the original shit.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. I never heard that story.
Yeah, well, that's what really happened. And so then when I came back, most of it was gone. Most of it was gone because and we would find it all over Oregon Hill. Oh, I found this. And I'd be walking. I found some myself. I would be walking along, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Oh my God, this is like Sly Minster's headpiece or GWAR Woman's headpiece. We didn't have Sly Minster yet, but yeah. So I came, and then when I came back, I had just won this costume contest where the costume that I was wearing had the big jacked up
boots and the big long hands like Cardinal Sin.
Yeah, I have a
like
picture
prototype
somewhere.
of Cardinal Sin. You
Let's see if
got a
I can
picture of
grab
that?
that.
And
Yeah,
it
let
had
me
this
try to get
big
it up.
Grand Poobah hat too, that was part of GWAR before I left for Detroit. But yeah, so that's what '87 was like. So probably and after they got the costumes too, that was when they did that thing with that where they're running around in the snow and stuff.
Yeah, they went to like the local news or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll try to find it. This is sort of related. We talked about this last time, but someone's asking about it again. You guys go check out the last episode. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but maybe there's some updates. Let's see. Can you tell us about Captain Communist? Will it ever be re-released? I hear that Bob has it. Well, there was a little clip of it in the documentary, I believe. So
If anybody has it, it's Bob. But I don't think he does.
So who has it? Does anyone have it?
It's lost in the sands of time, man.
Matt, are you still here? Do you know if you guys got it over there somewhere?
I'll tell you what. When I was in college, I made a movie that was half an hour long. It was made with 12-inch tall G.I. Joes, the old 12-inch tall G.I. Joes.
Yeah.
And it was called Attack of the Atomic Ants. And it had, I made a G.I. Joe dollhouse. And it was about this rich character who had like the Jungle Explorer G.I. Joe outfit. And I made him like a big blonde beard, and his daughter was the Barbie doll, but I sculpted her boobs bigger. And in the story, they're interviewing cooks, and so during the course of this thing, the ants get mutated with some kind of atomic force, and I had these big 6-inch rubber ants that are crawling all around eating the G.I. Joes, and it's really funny because all of the male characters, I had like a lot of G.I. Joe broken body parts and stuff. So the ants would rip them all apart and there would be blood everywhere and all this stuff. But then when they would attack the Barbie doll, all they would ever do is tear all her clothes off. It was really funny. But it was half an hour long too. And I lost that.
Yeah, is that, you said a bunch of stuff fell off the top of your car or something?
Yeah.
Was that part of that
That was part of that, and I think there are a couple of movies that I made. There was an animation I did with little plastic model figures, like 2-inch tall ones, where I changed the arms and all that stuff and had them shooting guns and stuff. And the main character was a samurai. Fighting against a bunch of skeleton Nazis. And that one, I actually won an award at a convention with that film. It was called Samurai Bob.
Right.
And it came out way before Samurai Jack, too. That was the crazy part. When Samurai Jack came out, I was like, what? But
keep talking. I think I messed up this thing somehow and I got to re-log in. So I'll be right back. But keep talking about it.
So I made this animated film and it won an award at a convention and everything. But I think Bob's got it. And I think there are a couple of other films I made that he ended up with. Like there was one where I saw a GWAR documentary that showed a picture of me walking with this girl holding hands with her in the park, as if that was like an example of my life in Richmond or something. But the funny thing about that particular film is that I was parodying my college roommate, and I made a movie that had that was supposed to be him, and then it had me breaking glass with a stick, and it was supposed with heavy metal music. The Mississippi Queen was playing in the background as I was smashing stuff, and then there was this other like Dan Fogelberg or some wimpy soft song, playing for the parody of My College Roommate. So when they make a GWAR documentary, somehow they use that as what I was like in Richmond, which is totally not right at all. But anyway, weird shit happens. I can't hear you anymore.
Hello, I'm back. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Oh, but
You
one
can
of
hear
the
me?
things in working on this new release of the book, I've been working with the guy Roger that's heading up the project in order to do an art gallery opening when they release the new copy of the book.
Nice.
And so he and I went to my storage unit place and looked through some shit to see what we found, and who knows what's going to come out of that.
Sweet. Yeah, Matt says maybe maybe they have it.
Well, one of the things that we did find is my master copies of the 4 videos that I used to sell. So that's
cool.
Return of Techno Destructo, Next Mutation, TVD, which was all of the different live TV appearances in the early days, all edited together, crazy. And what was the 4th one? The toilet one. Surprising Burst of Chocolatey Fudge.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Which, I thought that was the fucking funniest name. I always thought that we should name one of our albums A Surprising Burst of Chocolatey Fudge, which was something I got off of a Keebler cookie commercial that we were working on the animation of the animated GWAR letters, and everybody was all delirious from staying up too late and not getting enough sleep. And the Keebler commercial came on and he said, a surprising burst of chocolatey fudge. And we all thought it was the funniest thing, that everybody was rolling in the floor or side splitting and stuff. I thought it would be a great name for a GWAR album.
And that's the show you did the Mentors cover too.
Yeah, that's got the Mentors cover. And it also has Techno Destructo's clever plan to defeat GWAR is to disguise himself as the Sexecutioner.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which was really fun. And I got to sodomize Princess Diana too, the corpse of Princess Diana that was on loan for us from the Queen.
Right. Matt can confirm you laughed so hard it was funny. It was so funny. Here, I'm going to ask you this again, because I don't know if I got a clear answer last time. I want to go back to the GWAR movie, Scumdogs of the Universe, the original concept. Was there like a script? Like, how far did the concept of it go, like on paper, before it all turned into the band?
I had outlines and stuff like that, but I never wrote a script. In fact, I never really liked to work from a script, because I like to let the people who are playing the characters come up with their own lines. But I had plenty of. There's probably 3 or 4 different versions of the story out there, and yeah, because in trying to figure out some of this stuff with Bob. A lot of that's, I'm piecing together a lot of different memories to try to remember what happened, really.
Yeah, how's that going?
Oh man, it's easy. It's really easy. It's really easy. All I have to do is think about it enough, and it all falls into place. Because I mean, at that time we were all so desperate, and it was all so important, Like when I got back from Detroit, I lived in the slave pit. And that was one of the reasons I was so productive during that time, is because I was I was couch surfing in the actual slave pit, and I didn't have anything to do but work on shit constantly, So,
do those like pages still exist somewhere, or is it just in your head, man?
They're different. They exist in different forms. I'd have to do some serious digging. I think Roger and I might have found a few things
about it.
That would be really interesting. That's an historical document for GWAR, like.
But there were a lot of things, like, for instance, Gorgor, the character of Gorgor. Dave wanted me to make a woolly mammoth. He wanted GWAR to be like these cavemen that had been living in Antarctica for all these years, and he wanted to do a mammoth hunt on stage. But the movie that I was working on, part of the plot line was that characters crash land. They're having a outer space battle, and they crash land on this planet, and there's this dinosaur that's chasing them around and doesn't care which side they're on, you know. And so that was part of the story. So that's where Gorgor came from as a character from the original thing.
AJ Good has that Princess Diana prop now.
Oh,
Good.
yeah, that was fun. Princess Diana was really fun. She had like a hubcap embedded in her side, and she was really cool. That was one part of the show.
I know we had mentioned the TVD video you did. There's something that I have never seen that I recently found out about that was not included, and maybe you can shed some light on this. You were on the Gilbert Godfrey, something with Gilbert Godfrey. GWAR USA Up All Night, maybe?
That may have happened after I made that tape.
Right.
Because I think
they may have been like in a year after, yeah. Surprisingly, I've never seen that surface.
Isn't Jerry Springer is on that tape, isn't it? Or
no, that was way before that.
Yeah, see, Jerry Springer's not on that tape.
No,
either.
that was like a couple years, definitely a couple years later. That was like 96 or something like that, 97.
But Joan Rivers is.
Joan Rivers, yeah, because that's back in the early 90s.
All the British stuff when we went over and did
and the political guy but yeah, the Gilbert Godfrey, what's the story with that one?
That just happened later. It happened, and I was probably going to make a DVD too, but never got around to it.
Right.
I had a lot of stuff like organized and put aside together. Like I was going to make a wrestling one that was all the wrestling shows and stuff, but stuff gets lost.
Yeah, we go through the whole chronicle on the last episode, so go check it out if you want to hear more about this stuff. Cool. Well, let me hit you with this. GWAR is 40 years old this year, or the 40th anniversary. Can you believe it? What are your reflections on that? And have you seen this?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I started getting it signed,
cool.
Little by little. Because it's like, oh, this is a rare thing where I can get like the actual people's autograph and not like the characters. No, I'm not a big autograph person, but I was like, this seems like an opportunity. How do you feel about GWAR being 40? Oh, and if you were to put together a GWAR 40th anniversary show, what would you have happen?
Wow. The 40th anniversary show?
Because it's happening this year. That's crazy.
If I could do anything that I wanted, I would do Cardinal Sin and sing the Cardinal Sin song. That's what I would like to do.
40th anniversary tour. The dates are starting to come. And Matt, maybe you can hopefully confirm this. You're going to do a longer 40th anniversary tour after the summer, because I don't know if I'm going to make any of these shows. But and the new logo. What do you think of the new logo? Let's see.
I haven't seen it. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, go on. Cardinal Sin, what is he gonna do? He's coming back.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not in charge of.
Oh no, I'm just saying in your imagination.
That would be fun, but I would love to do tech. I'd love to be able to do double techno with Matt again for that show. That would be really fun.
Matt. Cool. Yeah. Just what about your general reflections on like GWAR turning 40? Can you believe it?
I don't know, man. It's time marches on,
Right.
What are you gonna say? I still say it's something that's never gonna grow old. There's always gonna be
a new generation ready to discover it. You know,
It's true, and they're still picking up young fans. Is what I'm noticing from going to shows. Is like it's still a young audience. People are still going to like their first GWAR shows.
but you know what else I feel about the 40th anniversary of GWAR, and this is kind of funny, is because something, and this is something I've been reflecting on lately, especially, is, you know, it seems like, because like, you know, Planet of the Apes is my favorite movie because it's so much like my real life in that I feel like I'm in a world where because I have a Southern speech impediment, I can't convince anybody that I'm intelligent, you know?
Right.
And so I can really relate to Planet of the Apes. But the other movie that I've been reflecting that is really funny in the parallels between my life and this movie is Cabaret. Because in a way, GWAR is like the crazy show in Cabaret. And here we are, you know, the United States is plummeting into fascism. And
I have
I've
a question about
been
that.
pulling my hair out on both sides saying, hey, this is happening. This is happening for the last 5 years.
Right. No, yeah. I don't want to get too political, but I do have a question related to that, which is okay, so we know like Dave was a huge World War II fanatic and everything, you know. How do you think he would reflect on what's happening in the United States right now?
You know, I can't even guess, you know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because I could see him being a Trump supporter, but I could also see him being totally against him. And it would probably depend on who he's hanging out with at the time, you know? So, but I'm not in a position where I can possibly put words in Dave Rocky's mouth.
Sure. No, of course not.
Guess what he might do at any
Right.
time.
Because, you know, we know there's fascination with World War II and Hitler, not in like the violent anti-Semitic ways or anything, but like,
yeah, he was
could you imagine him watching that happening now? Like, it's actually happening. Like, stuff is happening. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you for sure, he would be one of the people that would recognize it from the very early stages, just like I did.
He just missed it. He just missed it.
But like I say, he was never anti-Semitic.
Right.
He didn't. He was always fascinated with Nazis and stuff, just like I get a boner every time I look at a tank, you know.
Right.
And so he's into it in that aspect. But
yes, to be clear, just want to absolutely.
Yeah, he was fascinated with how can a charlatan take over a country that's basically benevolent and, you know, turn it into, you know, genocide, something that, you know, does genocide. But anyway, yeah. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows?
Interesting. Matt says it would be freaking blast to be on stage with you again.
Yeah, it sure would. It sure would. I sure hope I get to make a video. I get to edit some of that stuff together because I know Chuck's super nice, gorgeous girlfriend, Bambi.
Yeah.
I know she shot a lot of really good video of me beating the fuck out of Chuck and vice versa.
Yeah.
I know at one of the last shows we did in California, he really got me back where he got me down on the stage and he did the classic schoolboy where he got on top of me and he had his knees on my arms, on my biceps, so I could not move my arms. And then he just was wham, 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 wham.
Yeah.
Wham. It was funny.
Well, I still got my video from New York. If you need it again, I can send it to you.
Yeah.
I want to talk about weird shows. I was reacquainted with a recording that I lost about 20 years ago. It's a bootleg, warning. It's a cassette though. It's not a video, unfortunately. And I was geeking out with Matt and Bob about this recently too. And I just want to get your recollections of this particular show. It was at the Warehouse in Toronto in 1994. And the airline had lost a bunch of the costumes. Do you remember this?
I don't think I was on that tour.
Oh, you must have been. 1994?
No, because I didn't go on every tour. A lot of times I would
Really?
stay home to do pre-production or video project or something like that.
Huh. Interesting.
I didn't go on every single tour, especially yeah, we would do, because like Techno Destructo would be the star of the, we would do a tour that would really be a Techno Destructo overdose, and then the next tour, let's do something different, and I would just take off and work on something else,
Huh. Yeah, I'd have to go through it again and see if your
We'll
voice
work
is
on
in there.
catch up on the comics, or do pre-production for video projects and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it was a super weird, interesting show where Odorous had no costume and Slimenstra had no costume. So apparently Danielle just came out basically naked the whole show, and Dave just put scraps together and pretended he was not Odorous the whole time. And it was like they played the same set, but it was like super weird. And I guess the jump off from that is like, were there any other super unique, weird shows like that that you can remember, and what were they? Why? Like, what would have happened?
Well, I'll tell you one that happened during this recent 30th anniversary tour I went on with them was Casey Orr was playing Beefcake and got COVID.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, the 30th. Right, because the first show I saw, Casey was out, and the last show I saw, you were out.
Yeah. So and I got it too. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it and was out for a week. That sucked, man.
Because that was the first week of the tour and the last week of the tour.
I was so pissed because but what amazed me about it was that Mike Bishop was able to sing and play the bass parts, and it worked great. It worked great. They had to get another bass, or he did that until they could get another bass player.
Well, they were like switching it around, passing it around that show. And I guess there was just like one guitar for each song for some of them. Yeah, and then Mike played, which I love because Mike's like my favorite bass player ever as a bass player,
Yeah, he was awesome, and he would always he always made the songs. He always tried to make the songs hard so nobody but him could play them.
Yeah, well, there's something natural flow to his playing I can recognize. Yeah, but it's definitely unique.
He never uses a pick either.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Here, Brian Foley wants a techno solo album. What's up with that? And would it be a techno album, or would it be a rock and roll album?
It would definitely be a rock and roll album, but you never know. You never know. I have recorded music, and there is a project that's sort of like that's in the works and has been in the works for many years.
Okay, and can you shed any light on that, or?
Well, I shot a video of me desperately trying to sing this song while I'm being beat up by a whole bunch of dominatrixes, and it is.
Well, that's pretty much everything that you do.
It's in the can. It's in the can. We shot it like about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I just, maybe even 15 years ago. And I just haven't edited it together.
Oh, dude, you got to start editing some video again.
I know, man. I'm putting a plea out there.
So I've noticed, like on your YouTube, there's nothing there for like a year.
I know. It's because I haven't been able to edit anything. I'm dying. It's killing me. I'm like,
I mean, I don't have a lot of time, but I am a video editor. Just putting that out there. Let's see. Remember Hunter in costume running from First Avenue across traffic in Minneapolis to go to Monday Nitro. What a sight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the Misfits were doing, were in WWE for a while.
Right, yeah. What was that guy? Vampiro or something, right?
We were playing at that club where Prince shot Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah, right. First,
and it's right across the street from the Coliseum where
the Misfits were wrestling. So we got to go to the show and go backstage and meet some of the wrestlers and stuff. And Randy Savage actually came to the show.
Oh, wow.
Hanging out with us backstage.
How was that?
He was hanging out with Gorgeous George, his girlfriend, Gorgeous George.
Right. So that was before Doyle from the Misfits married her?
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
before that. It was
Yikes.
before they started their big affair. So,
I saw that band, Gorgeous Frankenstein, where she just kind of danced on stage with them.
oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I saw them once. They opened for Danzig.
But man, Randy Savage amazed me because when I shook his hand, you know, the wrestlers have a special handshake they do where it's like a dead fish handshake because a lot of them have broken finger bones and stuff like that, and they don't want to hurt each other's hands. So if you ever shake hands with a professional wrestler, don't try to impress them by squeezing their hand because that really pisses them off.
I don't think I'm going to do much damage with this.
Just if you ever meet your favorite wrestler, you know, keep that in mind. If you squeeze their hand trying to impress them how strong you are, you're really just pissing them off. So anyway, back to the story.
Yeah.
So I shake hands with Randy Savage, and he reaches out, and his hand is so fucking huge. It's like a baseball glove. I couldn't believe it. And then he gives me this soft dead fish handshake. You know, it was really funny. But they were really into GWAR. They came to the show and all that stuff. It was cool. And I got to go backstage. I met Eddie Guerrera and was amazed at how short he was, you know. And a lot of them are really super short. They look big on TV, but they're really kind of small.
Yeah. Camera angles and stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Who is your favorite wrestler, and have you met them?
Yes. My all-time favorite wrestler is Ivan Koloff from the way back when. I'm not talking about Nikolai Volkov, who used to come out and sing the Russian national anthem. No, not that guy. I'm talking about Ivan Koloff, who had the three-man Russian tag team. And me and my friends used to go with the red shirts on and all. And I actually met him at a county fair one time when they had wrestling, and I heard he was going to be there. So I went to the county fair and met him, and I gave him one of my comic books, one of my WrestlePhobia comic books. And he offered me to come to, he was teaching a school in North or South Carolina, wherever Ric Flair is from, that area. And he said, come down and join my school, you know, and I'll teach you how to be a wrestler. And you know what I told him? I was like, no, I couldn't possibly be a professional wrestler. I'm too scrawny, you know. And that was when I was like 30 or 35.
Right.
Or probably 30. And And man, I should have taken him up on it because I actually did start wrestling when I was fucking 50.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
How did the Morality Squad come to be? I heard that you did the Grambo vocals. Yes. Were your vocals pitched up? No, that's just you just sang it that way. I imagine.
No,
right?
I was just playing in the Grambo of the Morality Squad, you know, and I just sang it like she would sing it, and then that was another thing where Don and I had a competition to see who would sing on the record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Grambo, that whole thing started out as just it was like one panel thing that happened in the comic strip, you know, as in GWAR's origin story. And after we had toured around and on the school bus and made a loop around the country, we were sort of like, well, what are we going to do next? You know, and Dave really wanted to bring those Morality Squad characters in. And at the time, Tipper Gore was on the rampage against bands like
the Mentors.
Mentors especially.
Yeah. Then they read like some of their lyrics in Congress. It was like the
oh my
thing.
God, that's the best scene in that whole video.
Yeah, I mean, I think they helped these records sell a lot more copies. So thank you, PMRC.
Yeah, and he reads the line. The thing he reads the line is something like, "You're come and smell my anal vapor. Your face is my toilet paper."
That's right. Yeah,
that's what some congressman reads that out in the. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So there was a big censorship thing going on at the time. So we were like, hey, let's do GWAR versus the Morality Squad. And we came up with all the other characters and stuff like that. And Don actually was the one who came up with Corporal Punishment, the superhero character, you know. And I designed the costume. I came up with the way the costume worked. And Bob actually built the thing with built the muscle suit, which was one of those things. That was one of those things where I really wanted to build a muscle suit, but I never got around to it. Bob beat me to it, you know. So that's kind of shit that used to happen in the slave pit.
Don't talk about it, do it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was just too busy, and so he did it. But yeah, you know, and I miss that. I sure wish I had a gang of people hanging out with me, picking up some of my ideas and finishing them for me. But I didn't have that. That was one of the good things about those days.
I have a Morality Squad question. Was there something you did? I mean, I know it was like the interior of the Scumdogs where there was the commentary, but was there something you actually recorded for the album that didn't get used as Grambo, like commentary over the songs or something like that?
I don't know, but I know I did write a lot of stuff. I wrote letters to fans. Me and Dave both did that from Grambo, and
That's funny.
Write what she would say.
Yeah.
And she was in the early days, we used her a lot in Uncontrolled Monthly and stuff too. And
yeah, is there ever going to be an omnibus of those?
Yeah, Mind Control Monthly.
Yeah.
No, dude, my sister threw all of those away.
There's scans of them out there.
Yeah, they are. But I'm talking about the mass.
Right. Yeah, that's too bad because there's some like rough photocopying there.
Yeah, and I used to hand retouch those things because I knew I was going to just be using shitty Xerox technology to reproduce them. So I had to hand retouch the photographs, or you wouldn't be able to see anything, you know. So I would go crazy on the photo retouching on those. Some of them came out better than others, but some of them were really good. Some of them I thought were really good. A lot of them were shitty.
I'd love to see like I mean, part of what made GWAR look so cool back then was some of those badly photocopied pictures where you're like not even sure what you're looking at, but you know, it'd be cool to be able to read it too.
Yeah, man. I wish that. In fact, that was one of the things that I really intended to do. And I saved all those mechanicals and everything, but they were in storage at my sister's house, and she just threw away my whole reference library of all my books, and all kinds of other shit got a lot of my miniatures and all this shit got mixed up with it. She was like, "Oh, that's all Hunt stuff. It couldn't possibly be worth anything. Just throw it away."
Wow. You guys have any good questions? I have a couple last questions, but if you guys in the chat want to shake it up a little bit, how can Victor join the slave pit? Is there? I mean, that's not even yours anymore.
Well, you know, as an alternate to that,
yeah,
that is just make shit yourself. You know, and when I do and it's good that you kind of brought that up because this brings us full circle and brings us back to the secret origins of GWAR slide presentation, because a lot of what that involves is me showing work by Don and Chuck and Bob and Matt and work by other people. And the overall theme of the show is not that I did, this is what I did. The overall theme of the show is you could do this too. It's not that hard. You know, you can put on a crazy show, get your friends together, and you could do this too. You know, Green Jello did.
Yeah, they sure did. Yeah. And Brian said he was going to make me a character in his book, and I don't think he did it yet, but that's okay. I'm not going to hold it against him.
Oh, there's plenty of time to fit that in.
There's definitely, I think, Techno Destructo from GWAR is one of his characters now. I mean, from Green Jello.
Yeah, he put a lot of Techno Destructo wannabe characters in there.
Yeah, this guy.
And you know,
Techno Destructo.
Yeah, you know, and You know, personally, I think that's awesome. Just like when I was working with Serial Man in wrestling, you know, he was playing that Serial Man character before he ever met me, you know, and I
Yes.
just showed him how to work with the rubber and stuff, and he took the ball and ran with it. And
Yeah.
if you see some of his recent costumes that he's made are so incredible. He made this Tony the Tiger Serial Man costume that is fucking incredible. It's really good.
Victor, make your own characters, make your own band, and then I'll have you on the show, you know.
Yeah, because here, especially in Hollywood, everybody is so competitive, and I'm always like, and people think it's weird that I'm willing to teach people, you know, the stuff that I do, so they don't need me anymore, you know.
Yeah, and then you like pop into different scenes. You know, you're here with the chicken heads, and then you're here
yeah,
with the
yeah, and I
wrestling.
like to spread the creativity and spread it and see how it grows, pollinate these minds and see how it grows, you know.
Right.
See other shit that other people make. It's really fun.
What is your favorite thing that GWAR has ever done on stage?
Wow.
All right.
There's some pretty awesome stuff. I think the Slave Revolt's my favorite off the
I
top
think
of
that's
my
one
head.
of my favorites too.
But when the old TV transformation, like I was talking about the Santa Claus thing earlier. So part of that story, I would play this TV evangelist sometimes, and there would be a TV set on stage, and it was part of the story of Sleazy educating GWAR about humanity and bringing them into civilization by teaching them by having them watch TV. So we had this big TV puppet stage on that has like a porn that GWAR watches this weird porno movie.
Oh, I think some of that's in raw GWAR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, what ends up happening is the TV evangelist after GWAR killed he first he comes on and he's talking about it's not too late to save your child from the evils of rock and roll music. Kill him now.
Right.
And stuff like that. And then GWAR kills Sleazy, catches him in a hotel. They bring him out on the crucifix Christmas tree and kill him. And then he comes back resurrected by I forget the bullshit, but anyway, he's resurrected by the fans' fury or whatever, and he's come back to have his righteous retribution on GWAR, and he actually stands up in the TV, and it transforms around him into Cardinal Sin. So as he steps forward, you put on the costume and come charging out, and he's Cardinal Sin. The antenna was Cardinal Sin's head.
Right. That's right.
And then
Yeah,
the
that was
sides of
awesome.
the TV are his arms. So you put your arms in like that.
That must have been Scott, right?
And this was me. And
oh, it was you.
You stand up and walk forward through what's remaining of the TV, and it was really cool. That was one of the coolest things we did, I think.
Hey, see, he's doing it. Brian's making some costumes. Yeah. Here we go. Favorite GWAR character besides Techno?
Sexecutioner. Definitely, man. Sexecutioner made up so much funny stuff. And when he used to do that, he had that big rubber dummy that he could completely dissect. He made himself that he could. It was this big character called Stubbles, and he could take the brain out with the spinal cord attached to it and take all of the organs out and everything. It was awesome. It was awesome. And a lot of the funniest stuff that later on Dave did on stage was stuff that he got from Chuck, ideas that he got from Chuck.
Yeah, he kind of did that with the rock and roll all night, or no, rock and roll never felt so good. And a couple years later.
Yeah, that one. Oh man, with Katrina or Latrina, his girl.
Is that what her name was? I didn't know that.
Katrina.
We have a name.
That was pure. That over the top sickness was pure Dave Brocky, because he wanted to put the girl on the spinning chaos arrows, you know, and have the slave have him have his dick in her and have the slave spin the girl around on the wheel. Yeah, that was some special Dave Brocky sickness for you. But
Did
Chuck
you-
used to be
oh,
funny
okay.
too. He
Yeah.
used to make these pustules on his head that would have like sour cream and stuff in them, and Dave and him would actually dip chips in them and eat them on stage. You know,
Oh, hey,
pop the zit and then dip the chip.
when you took out Odoris's brain and it was like that green slime and you were eating it, like what was that?
That's you get wide egg noodles, and I would put them in a pitcher, like a beer pitcher at a bar. I would fill it up with noodles, and then put a little bit of food color in it, and then put hot water in it and just let it sit.
You'd have to do that every night?
Yeah, and then I
Wow.
would pour the water out, and in the bottom of the pitcher the noodles would be really mushy, and so then I would put them into a baggie, roll it up into a baggie, and make like 3 or 4 of them. And Dave would load his head right before that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He would put them into his head, load them into his head, and I'd pull them out. And that was really good because the baggie is like, it's like about that big, and it's a big blob, and I can take it and catch it on my tooth and yank it, and stretch it.
Yeah, there's a great shot of that in Live from Antarctica that I hopefully could use for my documentary.
I did that a lot in wrestling as well.
And
gotcha. It's a real crapshoot because sometimes it works really and is really great, and other times it's a dud. Like for instance, if you can't get the right kind of noodles and you have to use macaroni noodles, those little macaroni noodles don't dissolve all the way. So when you go eat it, it still looks like macaroni when it comes out. It's not.
Right.
Or the other thing that happens is I can't get the color right. I don't have the right food dye colors that I need. That can pretty much ruin the effect as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's one. Do you have any favorite tales from the school bus era? And that dovetails into a question I want to ask too. So do that one first.
What's your question?
Well, answer this first, and then I'll follow it up.
Oh man, let me see if I can tell one that is okay for me to tell.
Right, don't get yourself in trouble.
Okay to tell. I don't know. The funniest one is El Duce with the punch ball balloon.
That's in the documentary.
But it's in the documentary. Everybody's heard that story so many times that I'm apprehensive about telling it again. Right. But funny shit used to happen all the time. Like for instance, we would have all of our repair materials in the way the school bus was structured. It was in 3 sections. So you had the middle section was for us to lie down in. There were there was a plywood platform. We had sleeping bags and mattresses and shit. So that was for everybody to sleep. The front section was some seats. And then the very back third that's where the equipment was. All the amps, all the musical gear and all that stuff, plus all the costumes. And so one time we were riding along and all of a sudden things shift. We go over a bump or something. Things shift around and there was a can of spray paint without a cap on it that got pressed. The load shifted and something pressed it. So all of a sudden this cloud of spray paint is filling up the bus, and suffocating all of us.
Oh no.
We had to stop the bus, and the whole time this thing is going, so we had to stop the bus, get into the back, unload it enough where we could get to this thing and stop it, and stuff like that. I've got here's the good story. So one thing that used to happen is when we would go make the loop across the country, when we get to the mountains in Seattle, there's a big mountain where the bus always breaks down. It broke down 2 different years, and we were marooned at the same little gas station on top of this mountain while they were trying to repair the bus, right? So wait a minute.
Oh, we broke him.
No, wait. I've got to make sure I get the story straight.
Okay.
So,
it's digging real deep into those memories, guys.
fuck. Wait a minute. Shit, I got sidetracked. I got fucking sidetracked. I can't remember what story I was going to tell you. There's so many in there.
Well, you're going over these mountains in Seattle. Your bus breaks down.
Oh, fuck. I don't remember, man. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Well, we could come back to it if you remember it.
Yeah, maybe we should. Maybe it would be better if I take another bong hit. Maybe that
Yeah, go ahead.
will help me remember. But no, I can't. What was I talking about?
Just school bus stories.
School bus story.
And not the El Duce one.
Oh, I know what it was. Okay, here we go. I'm ready now. I'm back on track. I'm back on track.
We got him back.
So
he's charged.
So we had to get to the next show, and everybody, this might not have been the exact same time, but we had to get to the next show. So everybody loaded into a truck. It was just a regular, it was a regular truck like you would load shit into, and we all had our sleeping bags on the floor, and we were breathing CO2 all the way to the next place, right? And so we're like, I had this super intense, crazy hallucination dream, right? Because, I used to be a prison guard for a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a prison guard, I used to have these sort of recurring nightmares where they would always start the same way, where I would be coming home from work or leaving the prison, and they would stop me at the Sally Port gate and go, "I'm sorry, Mr. Jackson, but you're not going home anymore. You're an inmate from now on," And from there, dream would turn into, and this would be super realistic. So I would totally, when it's happening, I totally believe that it's true. But the longer the dream goes on, the more weird it gets. And it always turns into an escape dream where I'm trying to escape, and weird shit starts happening. Like, oh, there might be gargoyles perched on the fence of the prison with machine guns shooting at me, Or one time, to try to catch me, I was hiding in the basement of the prison. They filled the basement up with water and had these killer whales swimming around in there trying to find me and stuff, right? So I used to have a lot of crazy escape dreams, right? So during this particular tour, I had bought some comic books, and there was an artist that was imitating Jack Kirby, right? And I liked it. It was a Thor. I'll never forget it. It was Thor, and they were total Kirby swipes in it, and I was really enjoying this comic book. And Don comes up and starts scoffing about it, And so I got so pissed about that. And then this thing happened with the truck. I go to sleep, breathe all that CO2, start hallucinating. Next thing you know, I'm having a prison dream, right? So in this prison dream, in this particular one, I get out of the prison and I get in a car, and I'm being chased by all these guards. And I'm in this car, and the car starts to break apart. Pieces are flying off of it until I'm just like a little go-kart cruising along, right? And I get, and I look back, and I'm being pursued by all of these prison guards on a manhunt, and they all are wearing these Johnny Quest backpacks, flying, and they've got flamethrowers, and they're after me, and my car falls apart until it's just like a frame, and I went in, and I'm in. Go to the swamps near my house that I knew, right? And so here these guys on backpacks with flamethrowers, and they're torching the woods trying to find me, trying to flush me out. They're setting the whole forest on fire and stuff, right? And so I climb up this tree, and I managed to
jump off the tree and jump onto one of the prison guards who flies by, right? And I managed to fight with him, and I get his backpack. You know, I like kill him and get his backpack, and I also get a knife off of him too, right? So now I can fly, and I have a knife. And who should be leading these flying prison guard manhunt but Don Dracula?
As himself or as Sleazy?
And so I like see Don coming, right? And all I have is a knife, and he's got his flamethrower, and all the guards are around him and stuff. So I like click the flight pack on full power, and I fly straight at him, and I put the knife like right in his chin. I stab him like right there, so the knife goes right up in through his mouth, into his brain, between his eyes, and I hold his face right here, right close up to my face, and I'm like, all right, I've got you now. We're just gonna fly straight up until the fucking gas runs out, and then we're both gonna crash.
Wow.
You know? And that was my super intense fever dream.
That was a whole adventure, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a comic book that you need to make.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Forget that on. I mean, we have it here as a document now, but like that's a crazy story. And my question was not exactly related, but I always like to ask, because I'm in New York, do you have any specific memories of touring in New York and like anything crazy that happened here?
Oh man, New York is the awesomest. I remember one time when I was this was in the early days of the Slave Pit, very early days. And I wanted to go to New York because I knew you could get a lot of cool stuff like plastic domes and, you know, things you can't find anywhere else, you know. And
you drove here from Richmond?
Yeah. So I went on a trip up there, and I took these two girls with me, and I hadn't been to New York very, very many times at all. And they were like, you don't even know where you're going, you know, and all this stuff. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'm just going to walk around with my karma hanging out, and we'll stumble into the place, you know. And they're like, oh, you're crazy. You don't even know where we're going. You know, and sure enough, it was just so easy. You know, we found the exact plastic specialty place I was looking for really easily, you know. And I love New York. New York's fucking awesome, dude. But I don't think I could live there. You know, I really don't, because it would
then or now or both.
Well, back then it was much different.
It was, I never knew that New York.
It was like it used to be a lot more dangerous than it is now. And
for sure.
All it would have taken is for me to get victimized a couple of times, and I would have turned into a serial killer.
Right. Yeah.
And now I live in the ghetto in LA, and I've never, even though I'm living in not the most dangerous part, but I'm right on the kind of a dangerous area. And like, if I ever see another white person, I always go, can I help you? You must be lost. You know? And
right.
But I feel completely safe here, you know, knock on wood.
Right.
So,
I heard there was a show at I don't know if you were there for this one, at the Pyramid Club, where everyone was doing acid, came out naked. No.
I'm sure that probably happened.
Yeah. Do you remember the Pyramid Club?
I definitely remember the Pyramid Club. In fact, I think that might have been one of the Danzig shows that we did.
No, well, maybe no. You said that was at the Ritz.
Yeah, the Ritz.
Yeah, the Pyramid Club was like a small club on Avenue A. Still, the building is still there. It's under different management now, but you guys played there a couple times.
Yeah, and I mean, back in the early days, a lot of those guys used to do trip and stuff all the time. I never did. Me myself,
right.
I just smoke pot and I just drink beer. I don't even drink hard liquor.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think the other place you played with Danzig was City Gardens.
Yeah,
in Trenton, New Jersey.
Yeah, and when I did the Game Geek convention in Philadelphia, a lot of people came up and talked about City Gardens.
There's a documentary about it. Some of the gore guys are in it.
Yeah, they mentioned something about that, and there was a book about it too.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah, Jon Stewart used to bartend there.
Really?
Yeah. He might have seen you guys from behind the bar. Jon Stewart from The Daily Show.
No shit.
Yeah, yeah. That's his humble punk beginnings.
Wow, it's weird how shit like that happens.
I know.
What about fucking Musk naming his kid Techno Mechanicus? What do you think
Who?
about that? Elon fucking Musk.
Oh, did he?
That South African.
I can't keep track of all his fucking children.
The United States government. Elon Musk. He named his kid Techno Mechanicus. But he has another.
Think he's a GWAR fan?
The kid that, who knows, man? Who knows? And I sure don't know. I never met him. I'm telling you that for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But he has the kid that he was mouthing off at Trump. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he said some foul shit to him.
Man,
his name is X.
I had a dream of that, dude. I had a dream of that, but I don't want to go into that. But anyway,
right, yeah, that's a whole separate kind of episode.
Yeah, that kid's name is just a bunch of letters.
I think it starts with X. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about the techno one, but I believe it. Cool, Dark Star. Good to have you here. Titties the Clown is in the house. You know Titties? Titties the Clown. Yeah, Brian knows Titties. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Oh, we got someone's gonna see you on Thursday. That's cool.
Yeah.
Nitro Burning Funny Bong. Yes, jog that memory. Hell yeah. You sure there wasn't any acid before you clambered into that truck? Who knows? Canal Street. New York, is that where you found all that cool stuff?
Yeah, that's the place that sells all the plastic shit.
Canal Street. Yeah, I used to work around there. Who is this guy? Who knows? I don't know. He might be someone you have to kill on stage, GWAR.
For sure.
Muddied has this great picture with you as Scrotamoon at a Haunted Garage show, and
yeah,
I'm looking for video from that show if anyone has it.
Andy Chavez. No, that was the night I met Andy Chavez.
Yeah.
Ryan Haley is the person that told me to go to that show.
I'm looking for video. I want to see you in the crowd. Like I have your story, but like there's no video of that, which is crazy to me. So Muddied, if you know anyone who has video of
Hey Muddy, do you want to fight with me on Thursday? If you're available, I lost your phone number, but reach out to me. I'm looking for some people to fight with. If you want to fight me at the end of the Secret Origins of GWAR show.
Well, Katie, I think now is the time because they haven't really done a tour since all this new stuff has happened. So, Orlax in the house.
Yeah, I wouldn't be one bit surprised if they come out there. Okay. Oh, you know, one thing I got to do since last time I talked to you is I made this I wish I'd sent you a picture of it, but I made this. You remember when Trump went to England and they made that baby balloon of him?
Oh yeah, I saw it because remember you were sort of on a secret episode, or it wasn't a secret episode, but you weren't announced on it. You were on this show, if you remember.
I don't remember.
With Paramore.
Oh yeah, then we talked about it.
Yeah. You were showing me, you were making it. I don't know if you had ever finished it, but
yeah, I finished it. It came out really good.
What are you gonna do with that? What are you doing with that one?
This year at 4th of July, I have an Uncle Sam costume that I wear that has it's got a 2-foot tall hat, and I'm on stilt boots and all.
Yes.
And so I took the baby Trump, and the baby Trump has it has liar written across his ass, his back of his diaper, and then it has I got a plastic tablecloth from the dollar store, and I got a yellow one and a red one, glued them on his butt, and then cut it into streamers. So it's like these long streamers, and he's on a pole. So when I wave him around, it looks like fire. It really looks like fire, especially if the sun is shining through it. And so it's liar pants on fire. And anybody, even a child, can understand it. And I don't have to preach or say anything. People understand what I'm saying. You know, it's completely a visual gag. It's non-confrontational. You know, and so I stomped around. I got on the subway and would go to different parts of LA and stomp around, waving that thing around for a while. And as the Trump protests heat up more, I'm definitely going to get involved. And I really want to try to get on TV wearing this thing.
Yo, get on the Daily Show.
If Donald Trump would actually see me and get pissed off, man, that would just be
great publicity.
Life, dude.
Hell yeah.
That would be so meaningful.
Fight Sin Bodhi.
I've fought him a million times.
Yeah.
Dude. I saw a thing on a video of him just the other day where he was doing a match where he was in between two guys. It was a tag match, and they were throwing darts at him from two sides, Jesus. And they were sticking in his body. And so there was one guy was at the corner throwing darts. He was outside of the ring, and the other guy was the guy he was in the ring with was throwing darts at him, and they were both had all these darts sticking in his body. He's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen some of you. I have your wrestling DVD back here somewhere. Go get it at houseofhuntar.com.
Yeah.
Okay. I have one last question, and then I have a little surprise for everybody who stuck around to the end. And I might have to cut it out of the replay of this, but if you're here now, you're going to see it. I always end the show with this question, and I got to ask you too. It's designed for everyone, so it's not targeted at you at all. But I always ask everybody if they can share a nice or funny or crazy Dave moment.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes he must have made you laugh, right?
The funniest thing I saw Dave do before he really got involved with GWAR, one thing that I thought was really funny is when he would perform Death Piggy, and he would be wearing cutoffs, and he would take a jar of mayonnaise and dump it down his pants in the front. And then as he was playing his guitar, he would stop every once in a while and he would slap his thigh and it would make the mayonnaise squirt out of his pants. So that's my funny Dave Rocky story.
That's great. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if anyone else got any questions. Maybe we'll get a couple more in the end, but I have a sneak peek of the documentary if you would like to see it.
Uh-oh.
And I
don't know if I would like to see it or not.
The Haunted Garage documentary.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah, my documentary.
I want to see that.
I have a rough cut, basically, that nobody's seen yet. But I thought I would show a couple minutes of the GWAR part. And, would you like to see it?
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
You're talking about when you interviewed me?
Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's progressed a lot. I know this was like 4 years ago almost, but I finally have a rough cut of my Haunted Garage documentary.
Cool.
I'm ready for the next steps, and I thought I would share with you, since you're in it, the GWAR portion. And if you're stuck around this long, it's a little extra treat. So let's see. It's about 3 minutes or so.
Ready?
We were doing things like just a little ahead of the curve.
Wouldn't do that.
It reminded me of GWAR a little bit, but different at the same time.
Introducing GWAR!
GWAR taught me how to break free of the proscenium.
GWAR's act incorporates raging metal riffs, spewing fluids, cartoon violence, and pornography, and well, let's just say that these guys go way over the top.
First discovered GWAR at this place called the Candilejas Club.
I think it's a Mexican restaurant. It was in this place called the Covered Wagon, and it was like a gay cowboy bar.
I mean, the place was this big.
And I saw this big school bus.
And yeah, I felt bad for those guys because they, the first time they pulled up in their bus and they had all been living in it.
Yeah. I was in that school bus.
I think we opened up for GWAR.
I think we were playing with them the first time I met them.
No, we never played with GWAR.
Yes, they did. I was there.
We never played with GWAR, but we saw their shows.
It seemed like we did. I remember for some stupid reason I wore white pants.
Some people think that Brian Slagle bought Haunted Garage in order to shelve them and keep them from being in competition from GWAR.
I heard that rumor too, but I don't think there was much truth to it.
But I don't know. Like a lot of times when people compare GWAR to other bands, I don't really see it.
I kind of bristled a little bit when I heard, oh, you guys are just like GWAR. I mean, no, we're not.
Dookie was very worried about that band. He said, they're stealing all of our stuff. And I said, I don't know about that.
We've been called Baby GWAR, knockoff of GWAR.
What they were sort of putting across was it was sort of like a freak show experience, like piercings.
Well, GWAR doesn't nail themselves to 2x4s. They just cut it off.
Yeah, but it's rubber.
I thought they were a little more cartoonish.
GWAR is a little bit more of a dinosaur costumes.
I didn't feel that people were afraid of GWAR as much as people were afraid of us.
I think we connected more on a human level.
But Dookie took a different slant on it. They weren't monsters from space. They were out of the horror movie.
Dookie's last quarter, he was more like a cult leader or something like that.
There was no competition within Metal Blade of anybody. In fact, if anything, Haunted Garage probably had the advantage where, they were in LA and we were in LA and, GWAR's all the way out in Virginia. So, no, that definitely wasn't the case whatsoever.
Brocky in particular knew a lot about Haunted Garage and he was very excited about them.
They really inspired me to take it further.
Dookie Fly Swatter, that guy is as ugly up close as he is on stage, with or without the mouse traps hanging from his eyelids.
Oh, what do you think?
That was cool.
Cool.
That was cool. Yeah, and I agree. I never really saw. I thought that Haunted Garage and GWAR were very different. I never really saw them as competing with each other.
Because that was the rumor on the underground. Everyone who's not in those bands were like, "Oh, they did this to bury Haunted Garage," and everyone in the band is like, "Yeah, I don't see it. I don't think so."
Yeah, I don't think so.
And Brian Slagle confirms, according to him,
we were always friendly with them. We were always friends with them. There were some bands that were shitty to us, but we were always friends with them.
Yeah. Well, there it is, a sneak preview.
Yeah, that looked good. That looked
cool.
Cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it's progressing. Let's see. We got some last minute questions here. Ask Country if he's ever heard of the 70s TV show Hilarious House of Frightenstein. You ever hear of that?
I don't think so.
I think I've heard of it. Thanks for the inspiration. I'm starting a band and I hope to meet you both. Yeah, Victor, create some costumes. I got a good concept.
See, you can do it too.
Yeah. Thank you. Matt, I guess it was before your time maybe, but the question's out there. Did GWAR ever play with Haunted Garage? The evidence points to no. I asked Bob last episode and he said he wouldn't have been there, but he thought they did. And let me ask you this. He said GWAR sometimes on tour, if they didn't have a date, they would just kind of show up at a venue and ask to play. Is that true?
I don't think so.
Back in the early 80s or like the mid 80s?
No, I mean, in the early days when we would get out way out here.
Yeah, in LA for sure.
Yeah, and you're scratching for shows, and especially in the early days, if you're performing if you're out on the road without doing a show, you're losing money.
Yeah, yeah.
And we didn't have any money to lose, so we were all starving to death. I remember I was the only person that was thoughtful enough that I put like a couple of cans of sardines and tuna fish in my
Yes, you
backpack.
talked about this on the last episode. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I was glad I did that. And then I ended up having to share it with everybody because I wasn't smart enough to go sneak off and eat it in private.
Right. Yeah. Did you bring enough for the whole class?
No, we all shared one can.
Your lawyer wants to know if you could wrestle anyone alive or dead. Who would it be?
King Kong. That's who I want to wrestle.
Ooh, King Kong versus Techno. Yeah.
It's on my to-do list, and I'm working on it. But we'll see if we.
Dude, you should draw you and King Kong on the building. Yeah, climbing up that building. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fight him in New York. I want to fight him in the jungle.
Okay.
I want to fight him on a mountain. I want to roll down the mountain on King Kong.
Hell yeah.
That's what I want to do.
What Warhammer army would Hunter choose? I don't know anything about this, so that's all you.
Nurgle. Nurgle is the guys that are all rotten and they're all like coming apart. But I like the Gene Stealer cult too, because they're kind of like the Alien. They're a ripoff of Alien, where they're all changing into aliens, and some of them are more weird than others. They're a fun band. But Shadows of Brimstone is my current favorite game right now. And after that, Roller Brawl. Once Roller Brawl comes out, that's my favorite game.
Hell yeah.
Keep an eye out. There's going to be lots of cool teams, expansions, and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really fun.
We all came from Screaming Jay Hawkins, did we not? Alice all the way to GWAR. Yeah, it's the Shock Rock timeline right there. And Haunted Garage is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Matt said I thought they did too. Yeah. If anyone can find any evidence of Haunted Garage and GWAR actually playing together, I would love to see it, because it's all just faulty memories at this point. And no flyers. No flyers. Imagine the stop motion masterpiece.
I never really paid much attention to the warm-up band.
Yeah.
That plays before us.
You got a lot of prep work going on.
Yeah, I usually load blood bags and prepping all the cops and props.
As I know, there's a lot of I know that Dookie brought members of GWAR to see Green Jello, and there's that story. There's definitely interactions, but actual show happening where you both played together, I can't find it. I don't think it happened. Some people swear that it did. Nurgle. Matt says, yeah. Techno versus Kong, yeah.
I'm not sure if we ever played with them or not.
Thoughts on the newest Mad Max movies? I haven't seen them. Have you seen them?
Man, Fury Road is awesome. I need to watch the second one a few more times, but I like the second one too. They were I really liked them a lot. I really did like them a lot.
Yeah, because that was one of the main influences of GWAR, right? Mad Max.
Oh, definitely, without question. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I remember when that movie came out, it was I had read about it because Jim Steranko was doing this magazine called Premiere that had done a big article about it. So I just happened to see the poster one day, and it threw me off because it looks like a Western poster when they first came out. It looks like a cowboy. Mm-hmm. But I realized what it was, and I went to see it. And then I told my friends about it. Oh, man, you've got to go see this. And I wanted to see it again really bad. And I was like, you got to go back and see this movie with it. And it was only there for a week before it left. I didn't even get to see it a second time. And then, Chuck calls me up and goes, oh, Hunter, there's this movie playing at the Midnight Movie every week. You got to see it. It's called Road Warrior. And I was like, whoa, I know that movie. Yeah,
Nice.
And that was around the time when we were doing the Captain Communist movie.
Yeah, I have Chuck on his episode. He talks about that movie too. So if you guys want to check out my Chuck episode, we talk about Captain Communist there as well.
It was a lot of fun. And oh yeah, I remember the outhouse.
Yeah, there's a whole video on YouTube of you guys there.
Oh, of course there is.
Crazy little punk place.
Fucking asshole bootlegged us that day and took off without paying us too. he bootlegged the show and he skipped without paying us.
Damn. Well, the footage is out there, and it looks like a pretty cool club. Beyond the
Yeah,
drama.
it was weird, man. There was this little shack in the middle of nowhere. I mean, if you stood outside this shack and looked around 360 degrees, you wouldn't see anything but open field, flat open field.
Is that the place where the guy was like shooting a gun or
No,
something? No.
maybe, who knows? But I didn't see that.
What's
but I think somewhere in my memory there was some kind of gun involved incident.
Yeah, it might have been a different show at the same place. So I don't think it was on that video. I'm not sure.
It's possible.
What's the craziest place that you remember GWAR ever playing in the early days? Because there was
man.
there was like that skate ramp park, right?
There was one when we were doing the first cross country tour, we came to El Paso, Texas. And so between Texas and California, we didn't have any shows at all. We didn't know what we were going to do. And our manager was getting in touch with fans and having us fucking go to their houses and perform in their backyards and crap.
Was this
and we went to
Liz?
this little teeny place called Taco Land there was nobody there. And we go in and it was like the little local bar or a bunch of like really old rednecks hanging out there and stuff. And the guy brings us, oh, you're the band. Here's a list of songs that I want you to play. You know, and they were stuff like On the Road Again, you know, and shit like that. And I remember setting up the show, and it was so tiny. The club was so tiny. There was no stage. We were right on the same floor as the audience, you know. And on top of it, since it was at a bar, they weren't letting kids in. So they didn't let any underage kids come in, right? So nobody paid. They all snuck in through the side door. So the place was full, but nobody paid because they all snuck in. You know,
I'm guessing this was all door deals back then, right?
Yeah, and the drunk, there was a big, huge drunk guy that was related to somebody that owned the bar that comes behind and wants to play drums in the middle of the set, you know, and these super hardcore, scary Mexican dudes start hitting on Danielle. She starts talking to him, and then it gets out of control, you know, and then she ran to us. You know, and we were like, no, we're not going to fight a bunch of Mexicans for you.
Yeah, right. Yikes. Yeah, she's probably more scary than you guys out of costume.
Yeah, well, no, she's not. That's the problem. She's not.
Okay.
She was known to like make friends with super shady people, right. And then, you know, mayhem ensues.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, she's not scared of jack shit. I'll tell you that right now. And I'll tell you what, if there had been a fight, she probably would have done the most damage of anybody.
That's what I mean. Yeah, for sure.
There was an incident in New York where she and her boyfriend got jumped. She beat up the muggers while he, you know, sat there and took.
Wow. On tour?
Not on tour, in their regular everyday life in New York City. We're living in New York.
I didn't know Danielle lived here.
Yeah, she was dating this guy that was a violin player, but I don't want to talk about that too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to upset her.
Sure. Hopefully she'll be on the show. We almost had it. I've talked to her on the phone a couple times about it. She wants to be the cherry on top. I respect her wishes. So
she was mad because you let Colette come on.
Okay, can we talk about this? Why does everyone hate Colette so much? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but I don't get it.
I want to answer it, and the answer is simple. Because Colette was in about 2 shows. She was the first person ever kicked out of GWAR because her mindset did not mesh with the vibe that we were trying to do. She was like a super intense art bag.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to, you know, everybody's entitled to be into whatever they're into. And she just wasn't into the same stuff as us.
That's fair.
What upsets me is
that she thinks it's funny to piss off Danielle by trying to claim that she had a lot more to do with GWAR than she did. And I don't know if, and I know too that she's done things like she'll say some misinformation on a interview that's published, and then she'll use that misinformation to try to pretend like it's true because it was in this magazine. See, and she'll tell a third source that this is true because it's been reported in this magazine. Like, for instance, when you say stuff on Wikipedia, is that what I'm trying to think of? When you say stuff on that, you're not supposed to say stuff unless you can back it up by something in print.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she'll say some bullshit in print, and then she'll use that as a justification to put it on Wikipedia. And to me, that's not very ethical thing to do. And
Well,
I don't like her.
Do you think she's editing her own Wikipedia though? Because mostly just other people. That's like anybody can edit Wikipedia.
I don't know. From what
I don't even know if she knows that's even there.
I know that she and Danielle have really had a big war over this stuff for real, and I know that she's done some weird, snarky stuff. And
okay,
but I don't know the limitations. Of it. And I mean,
just,
from my personal run-ins with her too, I'm on Danielle's side. Because I've hung out with Colette a little bit since I've been here in LA. Not a whole lot,
right?
But a little bit. But I think part of it is just she's just trying to be funny, and because she knows it pisses off Danielle. But I think part of it is that she's telling a little bit of a fib to make herself look better than she really doesn't really deserve.
Well, can I play devil's advocate for a minute?
Yeah.
Because I had her on I don't know if anyone actually watched the episode I had with her. And I've talked to her offline a little bit as well. And from my perspective, she was even reluctant to do the show because she admits, she's like, I didn't really have a big part in this, And she admits that up front. And I'm like, I'm asking you to do it. She didn't come to me. And I feel like the same thing happened with the documentary. Is like, well, if someone asks her to do it, why not do it? But she's not like offering herself or like advertising herself like this, and she, on the episode, we talk all about this stuff. I think you should go watch it and see, form your own opinion about it. But I don't think she's claiming all this stuff, at least not when she talked to me.
Well, good. That's good.
And she holds Danielle in very high respect, as what she did in GWAR and as an artist, and she says that as well. And I don't know all the personal stuff, like I'm not that close to it. That's why I'm a good person to talk to, because I'm not in the middle of all the drama. I can talk to anyone about it. If you are in GWAR, you have a story to tell, and that's my perspective.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, I don't know. She doesn't, I don't know. I'm just wonder always like, where does all this hate come from? Like, I'm not, maybe there's, of course, 40 years of history there, but when I talked to her, she didn't even want to do it at first because she didn't feel like she had enough to say about it. And, you can't blame her for being in the documentary more than other people, because that's an editor's choice. Obviously, there was a lot of material to choose from, and that's not like she's sitting there like.
Yeah, and that was weird too, because one of the backers on that movie project wanted her to be in it,
right?
And that was part of the reason that she was in it so much.
I mean, I think everybody should be in it, Yeah. Like, including her. I think everyone has a little piece of this story to tell. And that's why I like doing this show, because I can get a long form version of that,
Yeah.
But that's just my piece. I've never met her personally,
I still want to watch Neon Charlie
I know
Dude.
you did a Neon Charlie one.
Yeah.
Send me a link to it because I really want to see that one.
He's probably watching. He watches the show. Neon Charlie was a trip, dude. Yeah, that guy has things to say.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch his
It was
episode, but I haven't
like
had a chance to do it yet.
pretty much 3 hours of him talking and maybe like 2 minutes of me asking questions.
Oh my god.
It was interesting. It was definitely interesting. He's an interesting dude.
Yeah, he was fun to hang out with in the dairy for sure.
Do you remember anything about his character, the Watcher?
Yeah.
Tell me about the Watcher.
Well, he had this big collection of neon, and he wanted to make. Everybody was making different weird costumes and characters to stick in the show.
Yeah.
And so he made this character called the Watcher that was just gonna sort of sit in this lifeguard stand the whole show.
Yeah.
Watch the show. And
Yeah.
he made this sort of helmet that was supposed to be sort of like Galactus, and it had neon. He put some neon on it and all. But he used to he scavenged like all of the neon signs in Richmond.
Yeah, he talks about it. He talks all about that stuff.
Because when I was a kid, I remember it was amazing to go downtown because they had a lot of animated neon signs and stuff. Like there was a Sawyer spice place that had a chef that would like pull this spoon out and smell it, you know, and it was an animation. It was like a neon animation where the different neon would light up and others would go off, so it animated the guy moving. It was amazing. And they had a lot of them like that, a lot of them. Some of them were just stripes and stuff that would oscillate sort of, you know, and others, all different kinds. And then after a while, all those businesses went out of business or changed into some other sort of business. And the neons just went off. And Charlie would go there at night and take them down. And he had this like garage that was full. I mean, it was full of neon hanging so that it would be safe. And it was amazing.
Yeah, he's an interesting character, man. You should definitely watch that. Watch it at 2 times the speed, so you just get it a little quicker, you know. But you know, it's there was definitely some nuggets of gold in there. I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I want to talk to, if you were just the Watcher for one show at Shaper Court, like, I want to talk to you about it. I think that's interesting.
But see, he was also what I would call basically a dairy denizen.
Yeah.
Who was one of the people in the dairy building that was always around, always doing stuff, always there.
Yeah.
And then when we moved, he would come by and hang out with the dogs and stuff and all.
Nice. Yeah, he's still kicking, man. He hits me up every once in a while. He's probably watching. So hello, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing, dude?
Yeah, I love him too. That's why I do this, Dark Star. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're probably hitting the end here.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? And then I want to do some
hours. It's almost 3 hours, dude.
I know, dude.
This much.
We should do it again, you know, in another 2 years or so.
Well, thank you for letting me come on and plug my shit.
Of course, anytime. If you're in GWAR or ever we're in GWAR and you have stuff to promote, come on the show, man. You know, it's easy for me if you invite yourself, because I don't have to hunt everyone down. And like, man, some of these old punk rockers are hard to get in touch with, man. And I'm just going to put this out there for you and anyone else who might know them. I still would love to talk to Scott Crawl, Dave Muscle. I'd really like to talk to Scott Wolf. You know, all those characters that I can't get in touch with. If anyone talks to them, tell them I'm looking for them. Go see GWAR. They're going to be on tour with Static X soon. I haven't bought a ticket for any of these shows yet. I got to do my research and see which ones I can go to. And then, of course, the 40th anniversary tour is bubbling up. Wow. I Hate God is on it. Some of them. That's pretty cool. Oh, and ROG is playing, if you're extra lucky, on a boat in New York City. ROG. That's right. The premier GWAR tribute band, ROG. Were you ever involved with any of the ROG shows back in the day?
Is that really ROG or is that?
Oh yeah, it's really them. This is their manager guy is putting this on.
It's the GWAR dudes without the costumes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just check.
It's happening. And yes, Rocks Off Concert Cruise around the Liberty Bell, New York City, May 13.
ROG was always a way for the musicians to make money without having to pay the artists.
Okay. Yeah. That was supposed to happen at St. Vitus a couple years ago, and then I think COVID happened, and it just never happened. Yeah, and the new X Cops is out. Go see it. Obviously, I started the show with a little video, their last show in Queens from about a month ago or so. That was cool, even though everyone was super sick. You know, it was the X Cops and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. They're back with a new EP. Of course, my documentary, go follow Duke at Dookie Doc on all the things. Really just Instagram. There's a Facebook group. If anyone has any old flyers or pictures of Haunted Garage, especially if you have any video from that show where Scrotum Moon is moshing in the crowd, please, I would love to add that to the doc. Got my album. Let me show you guys. So there it is, Quarantine Dream.
Ryan,
I hand drew every cover, so go check it out.
Ryan Haley might have that video.
Yeah. Okay.
You know him?
I feel like we're probably connected. I don't think I've ever met him in person.
He's been working with the Chicken Heads a lot lately.
Right.
I think.
I will check it out. I'll hit him up.
He may have footage of that show. He's the only person I can think of that might.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, we're gonna Matt, we're gonna talk about trying to do an online card game episode because I really want to explore that, see if that can work out. And if you're not at the Secret Origins of GWAR on Thursday, come check out my YouTube channel where Jane Jensen from Romeo and Juliet is going to interview me, and we have a new music video out together from my album Totally Fine. It's very cool. Jane Jensen. You know Romeo and Juliet?
Kind of, but not.
Yeah. It's a trauma movie. Yeah, it's narrated by Lemmy, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, Meatmen's on the soundtrack and a bunch of other cool bands. Go follow Pop Perversion, my rock band Pop Perversion. And things are starting to bubble up. I am starting to record an album or continuing to record an album. It's happening. And if you follow me, maybe you're going to see some glimpses of that coming up. I'm excited about it. And yeah, go check out the last episode with Bob Gorman. We had a great conversation. I hammered him on the archive. Go check out Techno Destructo. Oh, and the Neon Lords of Toxic Wasteland when they were on the show. Lots of great stuff in the archive. Can you believe this is episode 40 already?
Amazing.
And then, I didn't center this one, but of course, go watch the original VonPod/GWARPod 0. Already from
4-hour marathon.
4.5 hours. Yeah, it was impressive. That was from 2022, so it's already been a couple of years. That's it. That's all I got. I think we did it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So
stand up for the sick fun that you crave, because there's always somebody out there trying to take it away from you.
Yeah, and go make your own costumes and make your own band. Don't talk about it, do it.
Yeah.
See you next time.
All right.
Like, share, subscribe, comment.